Good evening and welcome back to our Cryptworld Halloween special that we started last night on Halloween. I'm Bryan F. Irving. I'll be your games master this evening, and we'll be playing Cryptworld with a few homebrew rules chucked in as well. The adventure we'll be playing is Highland Terror, originally created for the first edition of the Pacesetter Horror Rules. And let me just find that, so I am fully prepared. That was written by Garry Spiegle, so thanks to him. I've made some minor modifications to the adventure as well, because I just can't help myself. Anyway, where we left the party last, we had one of the save envoys. Sir Oswald was still on the Scottish mainland doing some research, and the others on the Isle of Iona, where they encountered some and they were attacked by bulls that were supernaturally directed by the creature that they are investigating. But before we jump straight back into the game, let me just introduce the cast to you. So as I mentioned, I'm the Games Master. I'm Bryan F. Irving from Gethsemane Games and from DH9 Radio. Also with us today, we have Jenni.
Hello, I'm Jenni. I play Alexis Strange, who is a lecturer in mechanical engineering, but she's also a private detective.
We also have Chris Gibson.
Hey, I'm Aiden. Chris, I play Aiden Oz, who's a zoologist of endangered, exotic, and um, uh, um, dangerous animals, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Patrick Heaviside.
Hello, I'm Patrick. I play Jimmy Rossiter, and I've just realised that his Pog looks an awful lot like the Reverend Henry Kane from Poltergeist, as though he's wandered into the cast of Guess Who.
I suppose it does a little bit, yes. We have Ben Watson.
Hello, I am Ben. I am playing Sir Oswald Remmington. I am an archaeologist and a lecturer at the University of Oxford.
And finally, we have Marie McGowan-Irving.
Hello, I'm Marie, and I'm playing Collette McLafferty, intrepid girl reporter.
Also, all of these. Sorry, I stumbled on my words a bit. You know what I was saying about trying to get this right first time, so I didn't have to edit anything. So, the group are also all envoys of the Eternal Society of the Silver Way, the Society Argenti Via Eternitata, best known as SAVE. They've been sent to investigate some strange goings on, and when we left them, they'd found 3 other SAVE research agents murdered in grisly and suspicious circumstances. I suppose murder's always suspicious.
Yeah.
Bit of redundancy there, but never mind. Which led them on to the investigation, which has taken them to the island of Iona. All, of course, save Sir Oswald, who's still at the University of Glasgow doing a little bit of research of his own.
A little bit, a lot. They're going to come back to piles and piles of books.
Am I able to get any of my stamina back?
Right, so that leads us into the game where we're moving forward just a little bit from where we were last night. When we left it, you just ended the battle with the supernaturally possessed bulls. We pick the game up when you are waking up the next morning, having been taken to the monastery on Iona, the monastery of St. Columbo. And another thing. No, sorry. The monastery of St. Columbo.
Columbo.
It's Columbus, actually, I think, isn't it? Anyway, you have been attended to by the monks, so you will all be able to untick your one of your wound boxes. So if you untick the lowest of your wound boxes, so if you have, for example, a scratch, a medium, and a critical, untick the scratch. Now then, I'll also need to know what everybody's undamaged stamina is, so I can tell you how many stamina points you will get back. So let me begin with Alexis.
Undamaged is 48.
48, which puts you in column 4, which means because you've been attended by the monks, you get 8 stamina back.
Yay, back up to full.
And Aiden,
60.
60. So that would still put you in column 4, just right at the end of it. So you also recover 8. Pardon me. Jimmy?
My current is 49.
No, your maximum I need.
50.
50. Okay, also in column 4, I see a pattern forming. You get 8 points back as well. And Collette?
44.
44, so you're in column 3, so you get 6 stamina back.
Oh, I'm up to a whole 8.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so you're in quite a bad way. Having been repeatedly gored by the bulls during the fight, but you were sort of right in the thick of it at one point. So you could probably do with some other form of assistance. Does anybody have...
Oh no, you're not going to make me go to the Royal Infirmary. Oh, I'll be there for hours and I'll come out with... I mean, if they tell me I've got a broken leg, that's exactly what I'll die of.
So it's not a good hospital.
So, you are aware of the time pressure that you're under as well. Oh, actually, something has just occurred to me. Whilst Collette was asleep, since you're the most badly damaged, I just want to see if something happened.
Oh no.
So, let me just have a D100 roll. And that's a pass. It's a bare pass, but it's a pass. That's kind of all I need to know. So, let me find the correct restoration. There we go. Okay. Let's have a... Okay. You wake up the next morning and one of your gore wounds is much less serious than it seemed to be when the monks dressed it last night. Restore 17 stamina points.
Ooh.
Hey, Bryan.
Yep.
Can I see if I dreamt?
Like divine favor, basically.
You can. You can make a roll to see if you dreamt. Marie, could you also give me a sense unknown, please?
Oh, what? Oh, there it is. Who's down the bottom? Fuck's sake.
So Oswald, you failed to dream anything of significance last night, or at least if you did, then you can't remember it. Come the
Nice.
morning. Oh,
Wow.
Collette.
Marie.
Right, Collette, you're taking a look at this wound on your arm where you were gouged by the bull last night, and you're thinking to yourself, there's something not right. There's no way it healed that much overnight. And as you're concentrating, you realise you can sense unknown from the wound, or what's left of the wound. What you're sensing is not so much the unknown or the evil way. What you're sensing is somebody has used a discipline of the art.
Huh.
Okay.
Which means one of these monks is a psychic with a restorative discipline
Could I
of the art.
use my discipline of the art, which is telepathic empathy,
Yes.
to see if I can guess which one?
Yes, you can.
Oh, nice.
What was your target number?
My discipline of the art 61%.
So unfortunately, you've just
yeah.
missed that one.
Damn it.
So
Yeah,
no,
but-
Hang on a second. Was that based off perception?
it would have been yes.
I don't suppose I can retrospectively drop my ability to boost.
I mean, it's is it likely? 'Cause
In the end, it doesn't really matter. We just know one of them has it.
I'm not sure how likely it would be, because I'm not sure you'd have known that you was going to try and do that.
Yeah.
So we'll say you don't know, but you are now, at least Collette is now certain that one of the monks has the art.
Hmm.
Okay, so since you're here at the monastery on Iona, and since your clues have kind of a little thin on the ground at the moment, what would you like to do?
Look at the weather.
Has sleep built up any willpower?
Yes, it has actually. So, let me just have a quick look. So I'll do the same as I just did.
Mm-hmm.
We will go through. People will tell me what their undamaged willpower is. So, could we start with Alexa, please?
You're gonna say you know who off?
I know, I very nearly did. I even got your name wrong as well. too.
Yeah.
If
It's 60, but I didn't use any anyway. So.
okay, no. Who is down some willpower?
Me.
You are very much. So, what's your
Yes.
willpower normally?
58.
Okay, so could you roll me a d10, please?
Okay. Shit.
Oh,
Okay, so you get 7 back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you are currently on the in the monastery on the Isle of Iona, wondering what your next move is going to be, and aware, of course, that somebody's going to need to speak to Sir Oswald at some point today, see if he's got any further information. So, what's everybody going to do?
What's the weather like?
The weather today is a bit more mild. It's a little cold and windy on the island, but it's not raining. It's not foggy. It looks as if it would be quite pleasant if it wasn't for the wind. The
Does
island's
the
quite
monastery
swollen.
have?
Hmm?
Yeah. Does the monastery have livestock?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
In fact, the 3 bulls that attacked you were part of the monastery's livestock, but the monks have discovered where the bulls broke out of the corral. What not really a corral, it's more a whacking great field. What they don't understand is what caused it, because the bulls themselves are normally, as far as bulls are concerned, reasonably placid, and they just seemed to go berserk last night, break out of the field and come stampeding across the island, as far as anyone can tell, looking for you.
yeah, because I want to question the monks if they've seen any other unusual animal behavior, if they've seen those cranes before, things like that. Because we saw those cranes flying above, didn't we?
You did indeed. Okay, so you're asking round the various monks to see if anybody has encountered anything unusual. Give me an investigation check, please.
Yay, I'm good at this. Yay, that's a pass by 30.
30? Okay, so, yes, one or two of the monks say they have found that they have seen some odd behaviour from some of the animals lately. The bulls have become a little bit more randomly aggressive. The horses have been very skittish and frightened all of the time. And they constantly see these 3 cranes circling the island. Well, not constantly, but they often see these 3 cranes circling the island as if looking for something, and then they'll be gone for a day or two, and then they'll be back again. Some of the monks think it's nothing more than just, bird behaviour, but others have commented on how strange it seems to be, and just how slightly out of kilter it is with what they are usually like.
Mm-hmm. And have they had any other visitors to the island?
No, they haven't had any other visitors to the island. They've been, or Brother Pace at least, has been exchanging letters with the professor on the mainland. So the only visitor really has been the fishermen that occasionally bring people out and pick up mail or bring mail out. But they haven't brought anybody. They've just come out and either delivered or collected mail and then left.
Okay.
Okay. Can I ask them if they hold an archive on the island?
They do, yes.
And is there anything in it about Cuchulainn?
Okay, this gets the interest of one or two of the brothers who say we could certainly take a look, but I do seem to remember something about it, or at least I seem to remember something about Celtic mythology tied to the island in some way. If you want to come down to the library, the monastery's library with us, we'll take a look and see what we can find.
Okay, let's do that.
I'd
Okay.
like to go along as well.
Okay, so could people give me any of the following: history, archaeology, or journalism tests, please?
Yeah, bollocks. All I've got's investigation.
I'm going to contact
gonna
Oswald
use-
while they do that.
I'm
Right.
going to use
Yeah, go ahead. You're going to use what?
journalism because I think that's the highest that I have out of those.
Okay. I could also take a archaeology, history, or legends and lore test. From
Well,
anybody that has.
Passed that by 7.
Okay. And you can't get through to Oswald, I'm afraid, Aiden. No matter how you try, he's just not answering the phone. Ben, I remember last week you specifically said, last night you specifically said you wouldn't be answering the phone while you were doing the research.
I wouldn't even hear the call
Yeah,
because I'd be too focused.
yeah. So let's see. Collette has found out something of interest. So, trying to find anything at all about Celtic mythology in the in the records, you discover the following. The records show that the monastery here was attacked in the 7th century by a cult seeking to restore the old Celtic gods. Some of the reports, thought for centuries to be fanciful, claim that strange and terrible creatures attacked the monastery alongside the raiders. Old documents report the raiders burning, drowning, and hanging captives. Some of the records refer to the raiders being driven back to the mainland by forces both from Iona and from Ireland that arrived from Ireland specifically to drive this raid back. But the reason for that is only vaguely alluded to. These claim that they were driven back to the mainland and took shelter near a northern loch.
Wouldn't be Loch Ness, was it?
It
So I
could
was
be.
wanting to explain something to the group. When they were saying about this swarm of oak and people thinking there was a forest, but there is no forest, it made me think. It says of the death of the branches, so it might be boats.
Okay. Yeah,
It might
could
be a group of boats. Yeah, just
Which would make sense in the context of innovation, wouldn't it?
It would. Bear in mind also, of course, that there is no trees on the island, but
There's no trees, but are there still tree stumps
no,
like
not,
ancient?
not really, no. But Collette has just found a reference that would seem to link the goings on here back to the mainland near this northern loch. Now, you asked me, could it be Loch Ness? So, could anybody who has geography give me a geography test, please?
Don't have it.
To be fair, while everybody else is investigating, I haven't really stated what I'm doing. Is there any other means that I'm aware of that can regain willpower other than sleep?
Yes, there are certain methods of the art, there are certain disciplines of the art that will do it, but I don't think any of you have it. I will just double check. Does anybody have the restore willpower discipline of the restoration field? No.
No.
So not just rest, really, I'm afraid. It doesn't have to be
Right.
sleep, though, just rest in general. will do.
What I'll do, I'll head to the chapel or the just wherever the altar is, quite visibly, to go and pray.
Right.
In the hope that some monk might take pity on me.
Good
Okay,
meditate.
so what I'm going to say is while you're praying in the chapel, you find that it is quiet, peaceful and relaxed. because of that and just the general feeling of the place, there's this kind of aura to the chapel because it's so peaceful and quiet, and you can hear the monks chanting in the background. You find it so relaxing that I'm going to let you regain 1d10 willpower.
Thank you.
Nice.
There you go. That's
Alright,
another 7
alright.
willpower back.
Lovely dribbling.
Okay, so nobody had geography then.
No.
Okay, so in order to find out if it is Loch Ness talking about, you're going to have to find a map. It's probably the best option.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
Sure, you wouldn't imagine it would be too difficult in a library, would you? So you can have a
I
bit
mean, you
of...
can read maps using tracking. I don't know.
No, not using tracking.
Tracking's more of a sensing and stuff. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Scotland was a tourist destination back then, but cities generally have maps.
Yes, it was a tourist destination, especially Loch Ness and the towns around Loch Ness.
So there'll definitely be maps for sale.
Yeah.
We'll ask the brother. We'll ask the brother who's shown us the library if there's any maps.
There aren't a great many modern maps here, but we do have a medieval map of the region and of the mainland, or parts of the mainland, the west coast, in the abbot's office. That might be of interest to you.
Okay.
While we're doing that, let's find out what Oswald has discovered. Oswald,
Can I tell you what I was researching?
you can, yes.
So, I want to specifically research this creature because I want to find out how to kill it, because obviously that's our job.
You want to find out
I
how
want
to
to find out as
kill
much about it as I can.
Kernanos, do you mean?
Yeah, the demon thing.
Okay.
That the thing with the ram head snake.
Celtic.
The ramhead snake, Kernanos. Okay.
I want to do a lot of research on him and find out about him.
Okay.
And then I also, if I have time, read the book. There's another thing.
Okay, so what you have learned is that Kernanos is a creature from Celtic mythology that is, although it is in itself, although it could be, I should say, in itself considered almost a demigod, a deity of some description. In point of fact, it is the minion of a far more powerful entity, Lug.
Yug.
Lug.
Log.
Lug.
Yeah.
L-U-G-H.
Yeah.
So I don't suppose Lug, because obviously we found that claw, and I mean I could misunderstand, but I don't think Kurlinoff, whatever his name is, I don't think any of his forms have a claw. So
No.
I don't suppose Lug does, like a big claw like that.
You don't really know much about Lug. What you do know is that Kernanos has several forms. The snake with a ram's head, the bull,
Obviously won't have a claw. Won't have a claw.
the bull, a giant worm, and 3
Probably won't
cranes.
I think the scratch marks might be from a crane.
However, could you give me a roll of what skills have you got that you might be putting to use here?
Ancient language, maybe if there were any like books that have ancient languages in them. Anthropology would be pretty useful, I think. And
Anthropology.
literacy, I guess, just for general like.
Give me an anthropology roll, please.
I also, if it's okay. Yeah, that's a pass. That's a pass by 65.
65?
No, sorry. My skill's 99.
Your
so
skill's 99, so take 66
Math.
off that, you're left with 33. So, you learn the following. For some inexplicable reason, it is said that the creature Kernanos is vulnerable to a magical dagger formed by the Celtic hero, or forged for the Celtic hero Cuchulainn.
Okay.
The dagger itself is said to represent Kernanos' form, in that it has a blade and then the handle is the serpent with the ram's head. Apparently striking the creature with this blade forces it to change shape into one of its other forms.
Okay, that's interesting. So this poem,
That's my chib, that is.
Yes, that's the dagger you found by the sound of it.
yeah. So this poem is obviously like, it's obviously a depiction of a great battle between this warrior and this like creature.
Yeah, that's right.
Could I have done research on the basis of this story, like the battle and just in general, the whole fight?
Yes. So what you will know about Cuchulainn is he's one of the great heroes of Ireland, of the Irish Celts. That he's famous for his. He is to the Irish what Beowulf is to the English. So is a huge cultural iconic hero. He is thought to have become so angry during battle that he would superheat, and that just touching him would burn you, and that after each battle he would bathe in 7 cauldrons, each one filled with cold water. He would be immersed in the first, and the heat of his body would evaporate all the water in it, so he would be immersed in the next and the next, until he gradually cooled down enough to be safe and to come out of his berserker rage.
Jesus. So, okay, so if we strike the dude and he changes form, I wonder if it's like he has 3 forms, I think. So I wonder if it's like you strike him 3 times, he runs out of forms, then he dies because he can't change anymore. I wonder if he's just going to keep cycling forms and there's something else you have to do. I don't suppose I found anything on that.
You didn't. You're a bit uncertain about that yourself.
Okay.
So back over to those of you who are on Iona at the monastery. Let's see if you can find anything else.
I would like to ask. Sorry,
Yeah, go on.
I was going to ask them about that. I know it's like it doesn't may not seem important, but for context, I would like to ask them about their crops, what they grow, and if it's been good. But it's like he said, it's like end of July, sort of.
Yeah, their crops have been very good this year. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no like pestilence or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
there's no pestilence. Quite the reverse. They've had a bit of a bumper crop this year.
Okay.
The Lord has been good to us this past year. The harvest will be excellent.
Okay.
Those of you who are heading towards the abbot's office, you're shown into the abbot's office. The abbot's there at the time. He looks up and he says, our guests, I trust you're feeling a little better after your strange and unfortunate encounter on the cliffs.
Well,
Am I still in the chapel?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say, well, a wee bit.
Good. Good. I'm surprised to see you up and about, if I'm strictly honest. Perhaps it would be best if you took to your bed for a while and recovered from the injury. Although it does seem to be healing at a remarkable rate. He looks quite confused.
Yes, strange.
Yeah, very strange. The only problem with that, see, is we shouldn't really have left Glasgow in the first place.
I see.
So lovely as it would be to have a few days on Iona with, the beautiful scenery and the lovely fresh food, I'm going to have to go back.
How unfortunate. I would advise against it, but if you are insistent that you must, then we can arrange to have a boat take you back to the mainland.
Just to double check, because we know the 1st of August is the date that we need to figure shit out. How long do we have?
It's tomorrow night.
Okay.
So you have tonight, and then tomorrow will be the
last.
Mhm.
Okay. There's that as well, of course.
Is that right? Wait a minute. No.
Not just today.
You had 2 days. It's just today. Tomorrow is the 1st of August. Yes.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So time is really, really against you.
Right, yeah, we really need to get going.
Okay.
You really
Right,
do.
well, we need to ask about this map, don't we? We need to
Okay.
see.
He shows you a map on the wall. He very enthusiastically shows you it. It's a map that must date back to the medieval period. There is a large loch called the Loch of the Beast shown on the map. He says this here, the Loch of the Beasts. It shows us that the myth of the Loch Ness monster must date back right the way to the medieval period, because the loch shown here, that is Loch Ness. And you'll see here at the top is Inverness, and here at the bottom is Fort August. They weren't there at the time, because he's just pointing to areas. There's no settlements shown on them, so they weren't there at the time, but they're there now, certainly. Now, there's an interesting thing about Fort August, and I've always wondered if it was true or not, but I've never had occasion to find out. But there are some records in the monastery that mention a tunnel passing through the earth to the Lake of the Beast. The tunnel seems to have some form of ritual significance, and it's said that it leads there from what is now, I think, if I'm understanding the records correctly, Fort August. I may be wrong about that, because part of our records are missing, but they were actually transferred to the monastery on the mainland at Fort Augustus. So if you wanted to find out, you could do worse than travelling to the monastery there.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the other notes that we've got, just to see if I can link anything. Yeah, about a puzzle that was found beneath the monolith. What can they tell us about, what do we know about the monolith that's here? And, like, what do the monks know about the monolith?
They don't know anything more than you do, because they've told you everything they already knew, or Brother Pace has told you everything they already knew. It's been there as long as they know. It was only when Brother Pace was investigating it that the secret compartment was discovered. And what was found within the compartment was a great surprise to everyone, which is why they sought an expert on the mainland who might be able to help with it.
And the cliffs that we were attacked on, was that the southwest cliffs?
Yes, that's correct.
Right, because that was the warning note of Brother Pace, wasn't it? Iona southwest cliffs, careful.
Yeah.
So obviously other people have been attacked there. Him, maybe, I don't know.
No, they're not aware of anybody being attacked there. There's just those cliffs are quite treacherous.
Okay. Fair enough. Right, well, I mean, unless there's anything else we can get here, we probably should set back off to the mainland.
Okay.
As soon as possible.
So you travel back to the mainland and return to Glasgow, where you've left Sir Oswald, who isn't answering his friggin' phone. So by the time you get back to Glasgow, you're all quite concerned, because you've not been able to raise Sir Oswald at all. The monks drop you off in one of their small motorised boats and then turn around and head back. You head into Glasgow and you find Sir Oswald just surrounded by books that he's been studying. He's right as rain. There's nothing the matter with him at all.
He's like, why weren't you answering your phone?
Good evening, madam. I do apologize. I tend to get mixed up with my studies and lose track of time. You see, I passed out somewhere in the AMs, and I've only woken up about an hour ago.
All right. Did you contact Save?
You will have done, yeah. You'll have to have rung one
Yes.
of the
Yes, I did. I
counterpart.
contacted the American office. The chap on the other end was quite pleasant.
Okay, because they really need to know what's going on.
I did find out something quite interesting about this little beastie we may be dealing with, however.
Okay.
Yes. So it seems that this what was the guy's name? The one who had the poem about him again?
Cuckolin.
Cuckolin.
Fine.
It would seem that this Cougar who fought the beast, he used the dagger, and a dagger that looks, is described to be exactly like the one that we acquired from the professor's office.
Should maybe wipe all the cow blood off it.
Allegedly, if you were to strike this beast with the dagger, it would change forms, and I assume kill it.
Well, it wasn't that cow then, because that just bled. Ruined my leg warmer, so it has.
On the topic of the poem, poems often use fanciful imagery.
Yeah.
The root, the branches, the oak bole, I'm assuming is the trunk, the rest of the tree. Could this refer to a family?
Yes. It could. I'm not saying it does, but I am saying it could.
It's the word after that, though, where it says out of climate of horrors.
Okay.
Well, we do.
Bryan, what year? Sorry, what year is it?
1984.
Right. If this were, and do we know when this was written?
The poem.
Yes.
Not really, but you assume you're looking at sort of early. Let me just have a look now. Early medieval, probably earlier. Late Iron Age would probably be more likely.
Long shot, but just with a sort of passing familiarity of Nostradamus and that kind of prophetic writing, this could be kind of bent to mean something along the lines of like Flanders Field, Meadow of Nightmares littered with dead. If it's taken in a sort of war context, could be clutching at straws.
Or it could be like a cemetery or something.
What was that town called again? Sorry, that
Fort Augustus.
Fort Augustus.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we need to go next.
Yeah, I believe that we need to get whatever information we have currently and go there before tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So, gathering the information that you have recovered so far, you make arrangements to travel to Fort Augustus. This is where your van is going to come in, very useful. Did anyone else bring their vehicle with them? Or does anyone else live in Glasgow and have a vehicle of their own?
Well, I live in Glasgow. I didn't see whether or not I had a vehicle. I would presume I do have, though.
Probably.
For bombing it to crime scenes.
Aye. Yeah.
I don't know if I would.
Probably
I think I
something.
would just
You strike me as somebody that travels by train a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Live in the city, work in the city.
Yeah.
I need to have a vehicle.
Well, I have a van big enough to carry a rhino, so.
Yes.
Rhino, okay.
Specifically.
Who has the best skill in using a dagger, by the way?
No, I don't have any combat skills.
I've got unskilled melee, but that's about it.
Everybody's
Would that
got
be
unskilled
strength?
melee.
I've got specifically dagger in 50%. So, I don't know.
Well, it looks like you're it until they're dead or find somebody better. You're dead or they find somebody better.
Because I've got dagger / knife 50%. No one's got better than that.
Well, you're the best shot at killing the thing.
Rather not be, but okay. I will carry the dagger, but
Is that student, is it?
yeah, it's 50% student.
It's actually fairly poor.
I guess that means like 50% of the time you'll be killing it, and 50% of the time we'll be killing you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, so heading to Fort Augustus, you taking the car and the van, or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are right.
Might as well.
Okie dokie. So, let me just have a look. Fort Augustus. Okay, Fort Augustus. When you arrive there, you discover it is a village located at the southern end of Loch Ness, and on the 60-mile Caledonian Canal. The village has a population of fewer than 700 people. And despite this, it is something of a tourist destination, so there are one or two bed and breakfasts around, which shouldn't cause you any great difficulty to find somewhere to stay. The problem, however, is this is 1984, and this is the Highlands of Scotland. It's still very, very Scottish Presbyterian, which means most of the housekeepers and landladies of these B&Bs expect their guests to be in and safely abed by 11 p.m. at night, because that is when the doors are locked, and you're not given a key to the outer door.
And yes, women won't get served in bars.
That's right.
Nowhere will be open on a Sunday, so you can't. You'll be expected to go to church. If you don't go to church, there'll be comments, and you may not be allowed to continue to stay in your B&B. And also, you can't get petrol. You don't want to know how I know this.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you're here. What would you like to do?
So there's supposedly a tunnel.
Yeah, legend has it. This is what the abbot told you, that somewhere near here there's a tunnel that supposedly leads out to Loch Ness. If the
From the fort.
from somewhere around here, yes, indeed. Could everybody give me a perception test, please? Just a general
Let's
one. Will
see
do.
if anyone had any cartography skills. Perception.
Ooh, pass.
Okay, so
Oh God. No.
those of you who didn't pass don't really notice the boards with the newspaper headlines on that you get outside of shops. You still see them today occasionally, just sandwich boards with a sheet of paper in and the title of one of the local newspapers and a headline. Those of you who did pass do notice them. And what's interesting is that the headlines seem to be about the death of a man on the Culloch estate last night. The headlines are all variations on gory and tragic death of known local poacher.
Okay. I'll point this out because I definitely passed. I don't know if anybody else did.
I did,
No.
and so did.
I'll say, oh, look at this. Do
So
you think we should check it out? Or
Yes.
you could do. Do you have anybody who would like to make a journalism or an investigation roll to find out what you can find out about it?
Go on then, I'll do journalism.
I'll
Okay,
do
go for it.
investigation.
Yeah, past journalism.
I passed as well.
Okay, so what I'm going to need to know is how much everybody passed by.
50.
50? Okay, so that will take us to a C result. Jenny, what about you?
I passed by 34.
34 to an H result. And Marie, what about you?
18.
Passed by 18. I'm going to give you... No, that'll be fine. That'll be an M result. Okay, so between you all, you find out numerous points of interest. First of all, you buy a copy of the newspaper. That's the first thing to do. And what you learn from that is that a man was gored to death in the woods by the Culloch estate last night. His body was discovered this morning. He seems to have been gored by a stag. The police are treating the death as misadventure, although they did comment that it's extremely unusual for stags to be sufficiently aggressive as to kill a human being. The man, David McKinley, was known to be a poacher and was on the private lands of the Culloch estate when the tragic events happened. Okay, Marie, what
Could be
you
there.
find out, in addition to that, you find the local newspaper office And showing your press credentials, you discover that the newspaper records indicate that this is not the only strange death to have happened in the town. Not even the only strange death recently. In point of fact, you spend several hours wading through the records because it's becoming more and more interesting as you discover that the number of deaths recorded in the area by drowning, hanging, and burning have increased threefold in the last 5 years in the area in and around the village of Fort Augustus. Now then, from you also find out that the local landowner, David Cullough, is a breeder of fine horses, but no one's ever actually heard about him selling any of them. Local jokes suggest that he secretly sells them for dog food, but as far as you can tell, nobody except the most gullible really believe that.
He just sacrifices them to this a demigod, doesn't he? It does depict a horse sacrifice, does it not?
It does, yes.
So was this guy's body found in that? What was the intermission? Sorry for that again.
It was in the woods near the estate, or in a part of the estate, I think.
Okay, we need to look at that estate because that might be where the tunnel is. But you did say about the horses, so we need to split up maybe.
Yeah, it's private, but there's potential that I could use my private investigator status to be able to get access to say that we're investigating what happened.
I don't know if you noticed, Chris, because you've just asked about would you need to split up to investigate the horses and the estate. But the estate is the Cullough estate, and the man who supposedly sells horses, breeds horses, but nobody's ever heard of him selling one, is called DeVere Cullough.
So it's
He runs. I bet he runs a cult that's trying to bring back the demigod. They brought back the demigod. It made one of the local stags insane, and then it stabbed the guy. And then it's obviously on the loose now, for whatever reason, doing its thing.
Marie, you've also found something else of interest out. As you're investigating these strange deaths, it occurs to you to start keeping a tally. You discover something that seems to you to be too far-fetched to be a coincidence. The number of hangings, drownings, and death by burning in and around the area are almost identical. For every hanging, there is a drowning. For every drowning, there is somebody burned to death.
Christ.
And Jimmy, you found out...
No, I think the food... Sorry,
no,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you finish
No,
Jimmy's
go
thing
ahead.
first. I think that the situation of horror of the field of blood, it's a cumulative number of sacrifices. And we may have hit the tipping point with the 3 that they murdered in Glasgow.
So, Jimmy, you've been asking around a little bit about the various things you're looking into, and you've discovered an old article that speaks of a tunnel dating back to the Roman occupation, which is odd because the Romans weren't actually supposed to have reached this far. But it dates back to the Roman occupation of England. So that sort of historical period. So still very much Scotland was still Pictish at the time. So that's the kind of historical period that this dates back to. It mentions a tunnel running from an ancient ruin towards Loch Ness. Archaeologists from several UK universities wanted to investigate the tunnel more closely to fill out its historical information. Unfortunately, the landowner upon whose land it was found refused permission, and the investigation was never made. Would you like to take a wild stab in the dark as to who the landowner was? One, DeVere Cullough.
Bit of a pattern.
I'm tempted to astrally project and spy on this guy. Don't know if that would be wise, though.
Notice me saying nothing.
Yeah.
Do it.
Maybe we do some. I mean, do you think we should try and sneak about on his land, or go and, put forward that we're private investigators? I mean, he could just.
He's not going to appreciate anybody poking around.
Yeah, he's just gonna refuse, isn't he? So.
Well, Jenny, you do have a gun, so that could persuade him.
We could potentially bluff our way in, pretending to be devout cultists, wanting to join.
You might want to know
Mm-hmm.
how we know how we're aware of what's going on, though.
We've put two and two together. We've
Um,
followed the holy prophecy.
Uh,
We had a dream.
I was more thinking that I go in and poke about in his estate because I've got a press pass. I'm investigating I'm a journalist and I'm reporting on the death of his gamekeeper.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I could use my private investigation thing to get in there as well, but then he would know about it. Do you know what I mean?
Can
Well,
I
I
just
can
point
go
out
in 'cause
nothing
of
has
this-
happened to the gamekeeper. It was a local poacher that was killed.
Poacher, sorry.
I could be investigating the poachers because I'm a
Brian,
zoologist.
Quick question.
Wait. 3 people talking at once. Chris was the first. Chris, go ahead.
So I could, because of the poachers and the animals going strange, I could be easily get my way in, because I'd be looking into why what's going on with the wildlife in the area.
Under whose authority?
My own.
Yeah, that doesn't give you any authority. Being a zoologist is not like being a policeman. You can't go, I'm a zoologist, you have to answer my questions. You are the right person to ask, but you don't have any authority to force people to...
I mean, none of us really do. I don't
It's to
think
speak to
private
gamekeeper
investigator
to get the authority.
How about the private investigators investigating
Well,
the death of the
could we...
local poacher?
The second person that was talking at the time was Patrick. So, Patrick, can you go ahead?
Is there any connection between the people who've died? Were they all people who wouldn't be missed, like poachers, like thieves, or local criminals, or what have you?
No, there's been supposed suicides, although you personally are suspicious about them being suicides, but it doesn't seem to have been proven otherwise. There's been accidents that have resulted in death by fire, and accidents that have resulted in drowning. But it's been a wide cross-section of people. It hasn't just been people that would be... that wouldn't be missed. No. Marie, you were the third person talking at the time there. Would you like to go ahead, and then I'll go over to Ben?
Okay, the question I had was, is this town big enough to have a police station?
It has a police station, but it's a very small police station.
That's right, it only needs to be a very small police
I mean,
station.
if you think Langham, we're talking about a
Yeah.
town not very different in size to my family's hometown of Langham.
Okay.
In fact, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's got the same sort of police force. 3 guys, all of whom were at my auntie's funeral at the same time, which made it impossible to enforce the law in the town at the day of her funeral.
Basically, heartbeat.
Yes.
It's no far off at mine.
Yeah, that's the kind of size of police force you're talking about. About 3, maybe 4 officers.
Greengrass had a field day that day.
Yeah. Ben, you were going to ask or suggest.
I don't remember what I was going to ask, but I do want to remind everyone that there was the fisherman boy who was knocked out, and I'm assuming he's in hospital. We could go talk to him. I'm sure he'd have information.
He's back in Glasgow.
Yeah, it's miles away now.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point, that he was an unknown quantity as far as whatever it was that killed those men.
I'm still curious what killed them with that claw.
Don't worry,
I
I'll
want to know if it
find
was
out.
a cultist or if it was the actual demigod thing.
Well, the door was forced using what? Like something
An
like
unidentifiable claw from what appears to be a massive feline bigger than anything that's ever existed.
the door was definitely forced with the claw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm incredibly curious what what it came from.
That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the claw was still on the paw of whatever grew it in the first place.
It doesn't.
But I mean, why would you use a claw when you can just
It
use
was.
a
It
crowbar?
wasn't a claw. It was like a shaving of of the nail.
Feels like it would be easier just to like use a crowbar though if it was a human doing this. feel like it would be more
not if the
attainable.
claw had some sort of magical properties about it.
Or
Mhm.
ritual significance.
Ritualistic.
Ritual significance, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the fact that he wasn't killed because it was outside of the triumvirate of sacrifices that was required. He was just subdued.
Yeah, because they just needed 3, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was the furthest from the dagger as well, because he was at the door and the dagger was like in one of the rooms. Sorry, was it?
So
Yeah, it was.
the other deaths that happened, because we know there's one that happened in the woods with the poacher.
Yeah.
What were the other 2 deaths that happened were they on the same day? I'm guessing.
No.
That a parallel with it?
No, it's just there are, as I pointed out, over the last 5 years, an increased number of deaths by those 3 causes.
Right,
Increased
just in
threefold.
Mm-hmm.
Do they all happen in the same order?
They
Is it-
do.
Right.
Ah.
Do always happen in the same order, yes.
Is it the order that's in the poem?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, next question: in this area, are there any standing stones? Are there any monoliths?
Yes, there are. Not many, but there are 1 or 2.
That's where we go next.
There's a bit of a problem there. It's on private land.
It's on his land.
It is on his
Oh,
land.
Of
funnily
course
enough.
it is.
Yes.
Okay. You said,
Okay.
hang on, there's multiple standing stones on his land.
1 or 2, yes.
Is his house in the middle of them, by any chance?
You're not sure?
Mm.
Give
Can I
me a
just
geography
interject?
test.
Can I just interject here?
Yes.
That if we can't find it out, if there's a library in town, they'll have a copy of a book that I actually think I may have a copy kicking around the house.
Yeah.
But it's a standard text on the standing stones of Scotland, and it's held by every library in Scotland.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you do.
Which is a survey of them all.
That means it's a public book then.
So, according to that book in the library, the Culliff estate has several standing stones, and yes, indeed, the house is at the approximate centre.
Boom. Okay.
Approximate
So-
centre.
So those get powered up. There's one for each sacrifice. There's one for drowning, one for burning, one for hanging. Each of those gets powered up, and they all send the power to the central altar in his house, probably in his basement.
Well, it's at the approximate centre. It's not quite at the centre.
As far as they were able to make accurate measurements when the place was built.
Somebody give me a.
If it's not at the actual centre, then the altar is in like his garden or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, okay. So I'll not ask for the skill roll since you've guessed it. That does appear to be more the case.
Could be disguised as something else, like a fountain or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or it could-
If it's a fountain, then it's going to be channeling blood from those 3 standing stones. When there's enough, it starts spraying out the top, and he stands there and becomes the avatar of whatever it is.
do you think I should astral
Bathes in blood.
project? It's probably a bit dangerous. Though.
If
think
if you astral project into that place, I think you will be immensely damaged.
I do have
What's the
incorporeal
worst that could
attack,
happen?
but I can attack in that form, but I don't think
What's the worst that could happen? You'll be fine.
The worst thing that means you could die.
Yes. Yeah. The current problem you seem to have is you have somebody who's skilled with a pistol, somebody who's skilled with a dagger, and somebody who's skilled with the ability to astrally attack.
And they're all Jenni.
Unfortunately, they're all the same person.
And I'm the one who always rolls shit. So there you go.
Right, my sphere of protection only works on like where I can see. It's centered on me, isn't it?
It's centered on you, yeah.
So I can't sort of send this thing with somebody or anything. I can't protect you if you go.
That's
It'd
correct.
be just like a physical body, wouldn't it?
I should point out as well. You're probably going to want to hold it so that if you do get into any fracas, that Collette is close enough, because she is still in a very, very bad way. She's still very pale and bloodless. She's having to sit down every 20 minutes from weakness. She's still shaking.
Do none of us have any like first aid?
I don't know.
Like-
Does anybody?
Only have biology.
Bryan, why is it that unless I choose to be the healer, nobody else does?
Well, generally what happens in these games is I choose to be the healer as a mystic.
Yeah.
So me choosing to be action girl reporter is a bit out of character.
The
Yes.
weird
What
thing, Marie,
what would be
weird
the
thing-
role?
While I was doing my character, Bryan said, "Oh no, don't take that. Marie's already got it." I was going to be you,
Yes.
but for the fact that you'd already taken everything. So, oh right, okay, I'll do something different. I'll go
Yeah.
protection.
Three things in a row that you asked about. It's like, oh yeah, you could take that. Marie's already got it. All right, I'll take something different then. I did actually mention that to Marie that night. So by coincidence, this kept happening.
I mean, another option is that we sneak into the woodland and snoop
How
about.
good are we at sneaking?
Oh, I mean, Jenny's always good at that.
You know how it goes with me, yeah.
As I seem to recall, this is based off agility, I think, and from what I recall from the combat, mine's the highest at 52.
My agility's 36.
See, the thing is, right, if this is Loch Ness, right, and he's got everything done, he's done himself a great big multiple murder so that he's got plenty of power to fire himself up, right?
He done himself for heck and death.
He's done he's done himself a heck and death, and he's got his fountain totally full of blood or whatever, and he's going to summon Carnunos or something similar. He's going to be a wee bit distracted, so us running about in the woods is probably not going to.
I don't know.
Right, if this is the culmination of a years-long ritual, he's going to have cultists guarding the perimeter. He's probably going to have people in astral guarding him. He doesn't want anybody messing it up.
Okay, so how about, right, we go and we find a load of sheep or a load of cattle and we run them through his estate?
Now, honestly, we've had really good results with stampeding stuff through things previously. I'm fully on board for that idea.
The only thing else,
Because the other idea would be we nip over to the nearest town, redirect several coach loads of tourists, and tell them it's open house day at his place.
Well, that puts the public at risk.
True.
I'm a
Yeah.
journalist. I don't care. It'll make a great fucking story,
I mean, it would.
and they might actually give him a correct byline.
Yeah, I don't think we should wait until he's literally about to do the final thing, which will probably be at sunset or sunrise, because from the poem, that's kind of what it sounds like to me.
Yes,
Can I just ask a question?
you can.
In any of these Celtic documents we've all been looking at, right?
Mhm.
The person who defeated him the last time was Cuchulainn.
Mhm.
Is there any way we can summon Cuchulainn?
Yeah, I was reading into Kukulin.
Not really. No,
What? What I do?
there's not really. You can anyway.
Yeah,
you
you can never
summon
summon the heroes. You can only summon the villains. We're just gonna have to be the heroes, aren't we?
I'm afraid so.
Mhm.
One of you might have to. It looks like it's going to be Jenny, the only one with any combat skills.
Right, that's it. You're gonna have to have do yourself a heckin' berserker, Jenny.
I've got a bit of an idea that may or may not work, but I kind of think it might be fun to do. I'm assuming the altar needs to be intact for the whole thing to work. Can we just drive the car into the altar?
Why not? It worked for.
I have a better.
The
Well,
thing
my
is-
next
is-
suggestion.
With this being prophecy, smashing the altar might be the final thing
Mhm.
that ends up summoning him.
Well,
my-
stop him
my-
from being able to sacrifice any more things, so he couldn't defeat the Older.
So back to the stampede thing, we do actually. There is some animals nearby. The horses. We could use them as a distraction.
We could ride the horses into battle.
No, not
One-
ride them. Just
Hi-
hit them.
Right.
And
Just looking at this poem, Warning of Ravens.
Mm.
We've
the
pretty
ravens
much
probably
got a
appear
pretty much got a
on-
handle on like the noose, the cleansing fire, the rainfall, the drowned. What's the warning of ravens?
Ravens probably appear when he's nearby,
Didn't we
like
get
they did on the
cranes?
cliffside.
You
We
got
got cranes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of his forms. One of his forms is 3 cranes.
This is the cranes, yeah.
Yeah. So that does
so
make
you already
sense why
know
he's
our
shot.
faces.
But ravens carry portents in Celtic mythology.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like the eyes of the gods or whatever.
Are cranes.
Could-
Ravens.
And
Every-
they're
Go on.
no, I was just going to clap my
Ah,
gums.
those
It's
things.
fine.
Okay. Could everybody roll me a d10 and half it, please?
God.
It's all right because each of you are going to recover a number of stamina points equal to the result of what you roll.
I didn't lose any stamina.
And I got
Well,
an odd number.
I've
so
already
what
got
is
full
it?
stamina. Could I possibly have willpower?
Yes, I'll allow you to have willpower instead.
Thank you.
If you've
Okay.
got an odd number, Chris, round it up in your favour.
What I was going to say was ravens in Celtic mythology are associated with the Morrigan and with Morfan,
Mhm.
who's the son of, I can't remember who he's the son of, but he's called the Great Crow.
Mhm.
Brian,
I'm
my
sure
willpower,
Oswald will know who's the son.
my willpower's done that thing again, Brian. If you'd be so kind.
Right, that's twice that's happened to you.
I mean,
let's open your
normally-
character sheet.
They're like a portent of death, essentially, aren't they, usually? So
Mm.
that's...
So we've now mentioned ravens a bunch of times, and we haven't had my little pet one land on the camera and cough.
Yes.
Usually that's what happens.
So what am I increasing it by?
I rolled. I rolled 6.
So 3.
3.
So 25, so 28, it goes up to 28. There you
Thank
go. Yeah, that should.
See,
Mhm.
in true anarchic fashion, I really think what we should do is storm the estate, find this posh oat, and just stab him.
Well, the thing is, I'm not against that. I'm not against that. But I mean, just in basic principle, going and stabbing a posho, yeah, I'm all for it. However, there's 5 of us. Great. He's not going to be by himself. We're likely to be outnumbered, I would think. He's going to have a staff who are probably all going to be cultists. They're all going to be on the payroll.
One thing I'll say
Well,
is,
what do we do then? Do we just sit and let it happen?
I
Definitely not. Definitely not.
That's why I said the distraction.
if we
Bryan.
go sooner rather than later, they may not be there yet. You see what I mean?
Well, time is getting on because you had to travel here
Right.
from Glasgow. Just saying.
Mm.
Travel here from Glasgow, and then you did a lot of research and investigation here. So time is certainly ticking on.
Where's the tunnel?
Yes, Ben. The
At the
you don't know it's
university-
yeah.
At the university, can I have a friend who's a chemist who can make us a car bomb?
No.
Can I just say to you, Ben, that at this period in Glasgow, car bomb is a really bad thing to say.
Yeah.
'Cause Glasgow
It
is
wouldn't be out of the ordinary to happen then if it blew up the
it
guy's
would
house.
be out of the ordinary to happen in Glasgow. Wouldn't be out of the ordinary for it to get built in Glasgow.
Oh god.
So you're saying it's a possibility?
I'm saying no, and that's the end of that. So, somebody
Fair
was
dues.
trying to ask me a sensible question, and I think it was Patrick.
The tunnel, it goes back to Roman times, yes? Isn't
Yes.
necessarily a Roman tunnel.
It won't be a Roman tunnel, because hello back, Ben.
Accidentally hung up, sorry.
That's all right. It won't be a Roman tunnel because the Romans never made it this far north of the
Yeah.
Antonine Wall.
Okay.
So it would be round about that period, but it wouldn't actually be Roman.
Right. Might it run between the the manor house and a local church.
It's either they said it was
Possible.
either a ruins or the monastery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just that we don't have much time, do we?
Not really.
Well, the
I'm
tunnel.
gonna.
The tunnel would take us straight there. That would cut some time off it if we can find it.
What I would say is, I'm going to take a gamble, knowing what I do about the history of the church in Celtic Scotland, and it wouldn't be out of character for my reporter to know this. I'm going to lay my money on the church.
Right. Can I just, somewhere along the line, I'm not quite sure where, but somewhere along the line you've got confused about this tunnel, right?
Okay.
What you know about the tunnel is it leads from the ruins on what you now know as on the Culloch Estate to Loch Ness.
To the loch, yeah.
Ah, right.
Not to the where
and-
we think this ship is, like the
Yeah, so it
manor.
starts on the estate and then goes to Loch Ness. You're not going to be able to use it to get from the town to the manor house. It would go from the manor house to somewhere in Loch Ness.
Maybe one or two of us could approach the house posing as an investigator reporter or an investigator or whatever, and the others could maybe try and sneak into the house some other way.
Split the party.
Maybe. I mean, they won't have CCTV.
No.
Probably
Well,
not. It's quite
maybe a
primitive at
very
this point.
Exactly.
Form of it.
Yeah, it was monochromatic. It was it fed to videotape,
Yeah.
and it wasn't great in the dark in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we can try sneaking around the estate.
Or I know we ruled out the idea of the car bomb, but somebody did suggest just ramming, if you find the altar, ramming that with a car.
I did that.
Yeah, I mean,
I still think I think we should just go for it. Just destroy
is-
the altar. He can't make any
Which
more
is
sacrifices.
it's kind of a escalation of Chris's plan to drive animals through the area.
I'm
Anytime.
still wanting to get the horses and get them to just distract the cultists.
Anytime somebody starts a course of action with just, it always rings alarm bells for me. Just drive a car into it. No.
I think maybe we could initially approach the property, see what we can see if we can see anything that looks like it might be an altar from a distance. I don't
Okay.
know.
Do you have another weapon, another bladed weapon other than the ritual dagger?
I will have a normal dagger.
Technically, I would have a hunter's knife.
Okay. I'm just concerned about stabbing him with the ritual dagger in case that's part of the ritual.
No, the daggers like to kill
That's
the demigod.
Yeah,
Right.
kill the roast.
say that-
Dagger's the bad thing for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes me wonder if people broke into the professor's house, why didn't they just take the dagger so no one could use it on them? But
Because it's probably, if they touch it, cursed to them.
Yeah, maybe it would hurt them if they touched it. Yeah.
when you take your litter picker and pick it up with that.
How do we know that the dagger is bad for them?
So I did research, and in the stories, a dagger that was described exactly like the one we have was used to slay the thing.
Well,
It
it
wasn't
used
really
to
at the
force it to change form.
Used to
form.
force it to change form.
That's right.
I wasn't able to find where you go from that. We could just
Like if you
I don't
stabbed him
know.
3 times, would he run out of form?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's either it runs out of forms and that forces it to die or get exhausted or something, or maybe it just keeps changing forms, and then we do something after that. But I don't know what.
Like changing from a living form into a dead form.
And I will say
Hopefully.
that if we're going to scout out the area, I could astrally project around the grounds.
I've got binoculars.
Problem is, binoculars only allow you to see things within line of sight. Bear in mind, you're back in the mainland now. There is a lot of forests on this.
Can I get a hot air balloon?
In this area? You can get. I mean,
A hot air
I've
balloon.
got to be honest, I didn't see that coming.
Well, quite frankly, with the amount of hot air that we produced, considering this, we could have filled one.
I say we just rock up there,
Just
not actually go into the grounds, but like try and sort of scope it out from a distance, maybe to begin with. It's better than
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of your plan to astrally project is you can scope even things that you wouldn't be visible to you on the ground.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
The drawback
one-
is there may be supernatural defenses against that sort of thing. You
Can
don't-
So, in the last night, did Ben's character have another
No, I didn't.
position?
I failed again.
Unfortunately not, no.
Can I make one more suggestion?
You can.
As an archaeologist, I could go in and pretend that these monoliths, like just to scout out where the monoliths are, I could go in and be, oh, I'm an archaeologist. I've heard this ground says some ancient monoliths. I would
Yeah.
be very interested in looking at them. If you would be so kind, my name and blah blah other like stuff.
Yeah,
Well-
maybe 1, 2, 3 of us or whatever could go and knock on the door and distract him, and I can astrally project. Although I would need someone to watch my body.
right.
Leave you in the car.
I'll look after you.
I don't think the monolith thing will work because it'll seem too sus on the day of his ritual.
Well, we've got
That's
an
a strong
investigative
point.
journalist. We've got, like you could come up with something else.
Well, there's a couple of things. You could go in and you could say the journalist with the guy from the university saying, "Oh, we were in the area on a grand tour of Scotland, and I bumped into this reporter who wants to write a piece on that, and
Yeah.
I'm an expert on this, so she brought me along to have a look." Or
I'll just quickly remind you that
Woo!
you all right? Marie, you all right?
yes, I'm fine.
Right, good. Can I just quickly remind you that the last time anybody tried something like that was when they were trying to get a look at this tunnel, and the landowner was in no way interested in assisting with that. He just refused point blank to help.
Okay.
There's no indication that it would be any different now, especially if you're right about him being part of the cult that has its high holy day tonight.
Well,
I think,
sorry.
right. Out of everything we've heard, I think the astral projection is the way to go.
God,
I
right.
wasn't so drunk, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I die, at least it's just one of us.
Yeah, that's right. And at
One
least
left.
it's the only one with any combat ability, so that's
I'll
good.
I'll keep an eye on your body.
Oh, I'm going to do that because I can put up a protection shield if need be.
I was going to say I'm slightly concerned about the sudden rush by all the male characters to look after her body.
Brian!
just leave it with me. Just leave it with me. Okay, so you're going to find somewhere. Where are you going to do? Where are you going to?
Maybe pull up somewhere not too far in the car, maybe, or the van. A van would look more subtle. How
I'm
far?
just thinking of the optics of this. So it's the early hours of night time. We just pull off the road into a lay-by, and
I think even a car might be too much. I think maybe just walk.
get
to,
in the
like,
van. I've got
maybe
an
the
astral projection.
side wall or something.
Okay. You might have to.
How
like,
close do you need to be?
I
Oh,
don't actually remember.
no, an astral projection would allow you to do this from quite a distance out.
Right.
Why don't we do it? Why don't we do it from a room in a hotel or B&B in town?
Yeah. We need to get a room quickly and set it up then.
Okay. So you quickly rent a series of rooms. Remember, there's a Scottish Presbyterian Highlands in 1984. There is no way unmarried men and unmarried women are going to get a room together in the Scottish Highlands of 1980s. So you are forced to rent several rooms. So essentially, because of the number of you, you've rented an entire B&B.
Can we stay in the Loch House guest house? I know
If
that
you
was
wish.
around then.
If you wish. You do notice that the landlady is giving you a suspicious eye regularly. I'll just bring in some more towels. Nothing
And I'm
towards going
not
on just
helping
yet.
matters by being from Glasgow,
Oh, absolutely not.
which is a den of iniquity and filth.
It is indeed, yeah.
Leave enough room
Catholic.
for the Holy Spirit.
And I've had to sign the register with my real name, which means she knows I'm a Catholic.
Oh dear, yes.
And there'll be stuff said about filthy tapes, no doubt.
Probably
I'm only
so.
saying the Loch Ness guest
time
house because that's
consuming.
where Agatha Christie.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so eventually you get ready for your ritual and hope that landlady doesn't interrupt this because this is going to look dodgy. So
Yeah.
you're all standing around involved in some kind of ritual she doesn't understand. When Alexa starts to Alexis. Oh, blast. Alexa, stop. Thank you. When Miss Strange begins to try and place herself in an astrally projecting trance. So,
Yeah,
give me a
that's-
roll.
This is where it doesn't even fucking work. Right. Oop.
I don't suppose it's based off perception, is it?
Astral projection. Give me a second to check on the book. I'm going to have to cross the
Why did
the
it roll
room to pick up
twice?
one of the expansions. Just a second.
It's rolled
42.
42.
So did you know Agatha Christie stayed at this inn?
What? Why is
I
it
don't know
doing
who she is.
twice? I'm confused.
One of the
Did you click it
greatest.
twice?
No, unless I did it accidentally. I don't see how. Well, we'll take the first one anyway because that's a pass. The second one isn't.
How convenient.
Ben, do you know the Murder on the Orient Express?
No,
Really? You've ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but
Well, she wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
Agatha Christie is the most published author to have ever existed. She's been published in literally every language in the world, and she's never been out of print. She has the
Damn.
longest running play in the West End of London,
what's it called?
Poirot.
The Mousetrap.
I haven't heard of it.
I only remember this inn because of Doctor Who.
Who?
The one with the wasp.
Yeah, we don't mention the W word.
Oh, do we not?
No.
In the same way,
Yes,
you don't mention
indeed,
that
there is a
particular
perception.
Scottish player.
There is a perception element. It's one of 3 stats. So if you're thinking of using your increased perception, that would give the Strange a 3% bonus.
Right. Well, I've passed anyway. For some
Passed
reason,
anyway.
I rolled twice, but I'm taking the first one.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So, do you need to know how much by?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So you see, Alexa suddenly collapses. And well, she doesn't collapse. She kind of sags backwards and just kind of drifts off to sleep. But it's an incredibly deep sleep, and it's happened very suddenly. That's what the rest of you see. What Alexa sees is you're now standing above your prone body. You're in your invisible astral form, just your mental projection. And you can see the rest of the team standing around your body, protecting it from any physical injury that could occur while you're not inhabiting it. Heading off in the direction you believe the estate to be, you kind of rocket forward. So the landscape's zipping past you at high speed, the rolling hills, the stones jutting out of the ground, the trees, the forests. As you go further out, you see a rough road through the woods, the manor house itself, beyond the manor house even, as you're slowing down now, in the area that you think's at the centre of these standing stones, you find something.
Oh, okay.
And what you find is a small grove. Inside this grove, a corral has been built. A corral small enough, a quite small corral that is large enough, I should say, to house a handful of animals.
Okay.
And it's hidden in the woods, is the odd thing about it. At the southern end of a very small clearing. At the northern end of the same clearing, you see a large and ancient wooden altar, stained brown with some unmentionable fluids or other.
Okay.
As you are here, you can see several men in tweed suits are bringing white horses out to the corral. The horses are already frightened. In fact, I'm going to show you the ritual grove. But what I'm going to do is just hide the elements that won't have arrived yet. So just give me a second to set this up correctly. So I will just hide a few things.
So they're in the process of setting it up. So,
And then I will drag. I'll just drag your icon out, but we will know that this is you there astrally projecting. Can you see now?
yes.
Excellent. So from what I'm seeing, it's quite dark.
Yes.
So I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit because it won't be that dark to you in your astral form. It'll be a little bit brighter than that.
If we rammed the car through the altar before they sacrificed the horses, we would have won. Simple plans are often the best ones.
Well, might have time to do that.
There we go.
Operation plan, just hit it with a car.
So, as well as this large wooden altar, you see an odd thing. There are 3 tree stumps here. They've been levelled off to provide like a flat, almost table-like space.
Okay.
Upon which you can see these men in tweed suits are placing 3 statues, one on each of the things. The statues are as follows. Let me just find it. So we have a serpent on one. We have a bull on another. Of course. And we have a stag on the third.
Right. Okay. Wow. Can I hear anything? What they're saying? Anything like that?
It's quite muggy because you're listening across the astral void, so give me a perception test, please.
Would this... Did you say Jimmy was doing his perception thingy?
I don't know, did you do that?
Didn't actually do it, no.
Right.
Alright, okay, no worries. Oh yeah, I passed by 50.
Okay, so you can make out roughly what they're saying. They're saying something about, we have to get this right, it's important. Tonight is the night that Kernanos will summon his master. Your blood runs cold because you've been thinking of Kernanos as the big bad, the creature you're here to destroy, this demigod-like creature, and you've just learned that it's already here. That's not what the minions are trying to summon. This is a minion in and of itself that's trying to summon something even more powerful than it. Temakta and Tolam will be here soon. Let's make sure that everything is right for them.
Oh, this is right. Can I comment on this because I haven't, my character hasn't seen it.
You won't be able to comment on it until if gets back and reports to you. So keep a note or keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
I am thinking of... I'll stay like another 30 seconds just to see if there's anything else happening, if I can see anything else.
Okay. Give me a sense unknown test, and since you're in the astral, I'm going to allow you to double it. which is
Okay.
highly unusual, but I'm feeling very generous.
All right. That would be failed by 4.
Okay. So you're not really sure if you're picking anything up. Give me a perception save and throw as well, please. See if you notice something odd about something.
Failed by 15.
Okay. In that
Oh,
case, you can see what you can see.
Okay. Let me just.
I'm not going to draw your attention to anything on the map that you don't spot, which I would have done had you.
Can we collectively do a sense unknown on Alexis
Yes, if you want to, of course you can.
to see if we can assist or in a way?
Is there?
You can just,
Sorry.
you can do a sense unknown if you'd like to, yes.
I failed.
So, Jenni, we're going to say.
Do any of the men here look like? Did we see a picture or a description of the guy who owns that manor?
You didn't know. He's mentioned in a lot of the things you looked at, but you haven't seen any pictures of it. No.
Right, and these guys don't look like none of them. They're probably just lackeys, aren't they?
You would
He
think
might
so,
be.
yeah.
He might be Kunos. I'm going to do a very quick, slightly. God, I don't want to take too long.
Okay.
I'm going to have a quick look closer at the altar
Okay.
and around the tree line, and then I'm going to go, I think.
Okay. So as you're looking at the altar, two things happen. First of all, you overhear one of the men saying to the other, "So, will we be at the ritual ourselves tonight, sir?" And he replies, "Unfortunately not. Tamek and Tolam can handle the ritual, but if the agents from the Eternal Society are indeed near at hand, we had best be ready at the house to waylay them should they arrive."
Okay.
It's at that point that you realise that it's the enemy that seems to be about to split the party.
Yes. Okay.
Also, now that you're looking directly at now that you're sort of moving around the altar, you notice something else. Beneath the altar is a large hole in the ground, and you can just about see stairs leading down into darkness.
Oh, right.
You're pretty sure that is the tunnel that you've been looking for.
Right. I think I've seen enough. I'm going to zoom back.
Okay, so I'm going to take a quick comfort break, but I'm going to leave all the mics active because we know what happens when I put one of the mics on mute. I forget to unmute it when I get back. So we're going to do. Oh dear. So we're going to do that.
Okay.
You can tell everybody what you saw. Remember, your mics are open. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Right, okay. All right, so as soon as I get back to my body, I will relay absolutely everything that I saw. I'm guessing everybody probably, did you take notes? If not, then I did. So.
Well, there's one thing that stands out to me that they've got that it's one supernatural thing attempting to summon another, except there were another two that were mentioned. This is time appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So asking in character, did anyone else see Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I've seen Ghostbusters quite a few times.
Well, it was released in 1984, so
yeah,
you must have gone to the cinema a few times to see it. Right, the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
The two terror dogs.
Uh-huh.
Vince Clotho and Zool.
Mm-hmm.
Except in this case, there's three minor entities, demons, summoning something larger, i.e. Goza.
Yeah, although it says Kanuros, I'm guessing, could be inhabiting the body of what's his name, the guy who owns the the manor, and he's going to summon something a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think we really need to get down there. They're
Yeah.
expecting us to go to the house, I
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
So
Are you wanting to ram the area?
yeah, maybe we could just drive a car
We do
right.
with Ben's idea.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
because
It is
they
my
did
idea.
say that they need to get everything just right, and we could just completely smash through
That
everything.
would delay it and also give us a chance to get the upper hand on first attack as well.
Yeah, because they said they're going to have agents near at hand, ready at the house to waylay us.
We need to do it now then.
Yeah.
Suggest we send one person in. We have 2 vehicles, right?
We have a big van and we have a car.
I volunteer to ram the altar.
That's
Keep in
great.
mind, there's the tunnel underneath the altar, so we don't want to get the car stuck in it.
If
No,
It's
we'll
just
get
a
it
wooden
this way.
altar. It's,
If we
he said
have-
it was wood.
if we have
Okay,
one
come
person,
back.
we have one person driving, let's say, the van as a distraction towards the house to give them
Yeah.
exactly what they're expecting. In the
Yeah.
meantime, drive the other vehicle into the altar.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive into the altar.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, because if this isn't some kind of like, if I mean, I'm guessing they didn't seem to know that any of us could astrally project necessarily. We don't know how much we know about them, but let's just say this isn't like some kind of. They know that we know where the altar is. Do you know what I mean?
Do they?
Presuming that's not the case, then they're going to be expecting us at the house instead. So
It sounded to you like they were expecting you at the house.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tonight is the night. He said. Was it Telact or Tenact and Tolan?
Temecht and Tolam. Yeah.
Do those names ring a bell for anyone? Are they something that's from mythology or? Are they
Nothing that I can recall.
No, none of you have heard those names before in any.
I mean, I did do research on them, didn't I?
I'm gonna say
Yeah, well, you didn't hear either of those names mentioned.
if you're gonna ram the altar, there's 3 tree stumps in front of it, and underneath the altar is the hole to the tunnel with the stairs going down. So you might want to try and approach it from behind, if possible.
I'll just take you back over to the.
We just need to know what the grounds look like so we know the entry.
I will draw like a map from memory of what I saw, and I'll, where the horses were, that the horses were frightened. We could let them loose as well, which would cause chaos.
Mhm.
So everyone should be able to see that map. Is that correct?
No.
No.
Okay, that's great.
Slap.
Let me try this. If I
So
put
everyone
an
can get a good
invisible
idea of, how it's set up.
token there, and
We don't have
then
much time.
from that token, give everybody vision. So controlled by all players. Dynamic lighting. Token vision. What about now?
Yep.
Very, very dark, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, it will be quite dark, but that's what you're looking at. So there's only one way you could hope to get a vehicle through there. You would be struggling to manage that as well, really, without. And the vehicle is going to be written off by whatever you. By wrapping
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine by that.
Sorry?
We're fine with that.
You're fine with that? Yep, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay. What now? Marie mentioned something about you couldn't get fuel on a Sunday. What day are we on?
Okay. That's the kind of question I wasn't expecting either, so just give me a second
Well,
to look that
well,
up. Because we know what year it is and we know what the date is. So
Yeah.
the internet should provide the answer to
Oh,
that
absolutely.
question.
It's a Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? There you go, it's a Wednesday.
Excellent.
Fantastic. So, hang on. Wednesday's half day closing, isn't it?
Depends where you are.
Yeah.
Back in 1984.
I mean, everywhere's going to be closed by now, certainly. Yes, because I've
Right.
already said it's early evening.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
late now.
In which case, what I'm after is accelerant.
I mean,
Is-
you'll have a little bit in the car, but
Yeah.
If we can't drive the car straight into it, then
There is a way we can get accelerant.
right,
Fertilizers. They'll be on the
Okay.
farms.
right.
Mm-hmm.
true.
We could siphon out of a vehicle as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing we can do.
Only need a little bit, really.
Yeah.
I'm really wishing I knew what you were planning because this sounds worrying.
Torch,
Yeah, it does, to be honest.
torch in the house, I guess.
We're going to burn things.
Well, I gathered that.
Lots of things. All the things.
I think
Fire is the cleanser.
some of us need to try sneak in, and we can let the horses out whilst the others, whoever's willing to leap out of a vehicle going at whatever miles per hour towards an altar, can do that.
Yeah, we decided to go with the chaotic way, so we went with Ben's idea.
I was going to say, was this Ben's plan? Is it?
Of course. Or we could
Simple
just
but
charge.
effective.
Apparently, there's only going to be 2 of them doing this ritual. From what it sounded like. The rest of them are going to be at the house because they think
Yeah.
we're going to
Wait,
be
isn't the one doing the ritual or like the minion to the big bad?
said it no. Is said that it was Telact and Tolam can handle the ritual. But if the agents are near at hand, then we need to be ready at the house to waylay them.
We'll have the other car too.
Did they say specifically that only 2 of them would be doing the ritual, or that one of them would be missing?
Well, all I heard was Telact and Tolam can handle the ritual.
There might be somebody else to stand in. It doesn't mean it'll be limited to them 2, only that they'll be overseeing it.
But it sounds to me like the majority are going to be at
Yes.
the house because they think we're heading over there.
Unless that's exactly what they wanted you to think, because they could see that you were there.
No.
But it
No?
didn't. Probably unlikely because they just seem like lackeys. do you know?
Okay. Let's aim straight for the altar and get it disrupted.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to admit, I didn't see this coming. So, that's
Really,
twice I've
Bryan?
said that today. Yep.
All these years, I didn't see this as an option.
I wouldn't care, but in Call of Cthulhu, I've been known to approach problems in much the same way myself.
Well,
So-
hang on. What were you expecting? Are you expecting us to go to the house?
No?
I just don't think he thought that would drive a car into it. And maybe also
So is it
have
you keep
fire
switching
bombs.
between the car and the van? Which is it going
Well,
to be?
Technically both.
Whoever doesn't mind writing off their vehicle,
Neither vehicle's mine,
Well,
so
Save will replace it, won't they?
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, you hope.
I mean, they might do.
They might do.
Or we could just approach on foot, take them by surprise that way. If there's only a handful of them, or 2 of them, maybe.
Big if.
I mean, I could go ahead in astral form, but that's like I could hang around a bit longer, but I'd have to then get back to my body to report to you. Do you know what I mean?
If you use the car to ram and use the van just first to be in.
I mean, that very much depends how Collette feels about her car. Also, she is in no position to be ramming anything because a strong breeze is going to
Trust me,
finish her
Collette,
off.
you'll have
Oh, I
the
said
biggest
I'll be
story of the
driving.
You'll
lifetime.
be driving.
You just
I'll
have to
be the
risk your
ram.
car.
So which
But
would
you
you...
see the thing there, right, son? See the thing about the story of a lifetime? Is I have to be alive to file it. Aye.
Maybe Collette could. Well, no, because
What
then
does Collette think?
if she falls, I just thought she could climb up a tree and film everything, but then if she fell out a tree, she'd die as well.
Yeah.
I think Ben can go on his own to ram in if that's what we're insisting on doing, because he's going to have to jump out of the car before it.
Hang on a second.
Oh, I have to actually jump out as well. Oh.
Hang on a
I'd
second.
imagine
Whoa. Whoa. Time. My field of protection, it moves with me, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
I cast that on myself in the car, drive
Yeah.
the car into the altar. Whatever the car hits should be damaged, but whatever's within the field that I'm protecting shouldn't be. Correct?
Won't gravity still work?
I'm just going to need
inertia?
to read that myself, actually, because that does feel a bit... So it's a sphere of protection.
Mm-hmm.
So if successful, the user can raise an invisible sphere of protective power which protects all characters and animals within it from all creatures and any form of attack, even disciplines of the evil way. The sphere deflects missile attacks whilst allowing the protected characters to use their missile and weapons. A handy arrangement. You can shoot out, the enemy cannot shoot in. The sphere has a 15-foot radius and extends in all directions from the user, including down into the ground and up into the sky. Not only does the sphere keep out the attacks of creatures, no creature can enter the sphere. Any creature caught inside the sphere must try to leave it once during its next movement step. Creatures unable to leave the sphere move as far away as possible from the protector and are unable to defend themselves as long as the discipline is in effect. Okay, so nothing about this is going to give you the power to ward off something you are crashing into. That is still going to injure you.
It doesn't protect us from our own stupidity.
Correct, yes.
I was going to say it says.
Collette,
Go on.
though, sorry. Definitely. If Collette stays near Jenni, then that'll help. And I think there's basically what they're summoning is going to come up through that from the lake, isn't it? And come up through that tunnel. It's like the freaking Loch Ness demon or some shit. That's what it sounds like to me, anyway.
I mean,
Well,
that
we'll find
tunnel
out.
is supposed to lead to Loch Ness, so you suspect
Yeah,
there is something more down there.
yeah. And I think even if we destroy the altar and everything, we're still going to need to go back to the house because I reckon that guy is embodying Kanunos and we need to stab him with a dagger. So we need to do both, I think. Technically, probably.
Right.
Damn right.
That's just my thought. Like, I could astrally project and go house as well, but that's going to be more dangerous.
Oh, point of clarity. You can attack from astral, yeah?
Yeah, I have incorporeal attack, yeah.
Does that dagger have an astral form?
No.
So it's not like you can reach for the physical form of it and take the astral form out of it?
No.
Okay.
Can't.
Right.
I'd have to go physically, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good thought, though. It'd be cool if it
Something
did.
doesn't quite add up though about the altar. The fact it's made out of wood, it doesn't seem like it's important.
I don't know.
altar
And I
itself.
just point out in the poem about Cuckling, what do they repeatedly say? The branch, the
Yeah.
bowl,
Oak bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. Rising out of the blood-sprinkled earth.
Okay. Never mind
One,
then.
one was the death of the oak bull, rising out of the blood-sprinkled earth, out of the dying, splitting sky, mocking the path of the sun. One was the death of the root. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially, yeah, it makes sense. It's wood to me.
And you are now, I think, at a point where you're procrastinating. So I think we're going to have to move from the planning stage to the action phase at this point. So,
Just go for it, yeah.
for the fear of finding out that you really are going to do what I think you're going to do, I'm going to have to ask this. But what are you going to do?
Well, I think Ben is going to ram the car, I think, and the rest of us can rock up in the van or vice
So,
versa.
so I'm going to
I'm
ask
gonna free the
Collette because
horses.
it's her car. Is
It
that
is her
correct?
car.
Are you allowing him to use the car to ram, or are you going to say no? Use the van. It's
Use
bigger.
the van, yeah. Doesn't, if you don't want to knock your car.
I don't mind. But I'm basically, she's basically driving an old wreck.
It's gonna
A
be bigger than
reporter's
that.
never going to drive a decent car because
Well,
you have to leave at dodgy places, don't you?
if
So
Save
he-
won't
yeah.
replace it, we can band together and get you a slightly better dodgy wreck.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can get insurance on the supernatural.
Do you know? I don't think you can. No. So I've tried to drag that car over onto the map, and the map has rebelled. It's gone, no.
What's there?
It's
Why
there,
did-
yeah.
Tiny.
Just a bit squishy.
You can see it, can you?
Yeah, right here.
Why is it so squished?
Right, because it hasn't been extended out to the right size yet, because it's not shown on my map.
All right, okay.
So it
What
will
he
come
said.
in. It will come in at 1 square by 1 square, because everything does. But I can't see it. It's just not there.
It's so tiny.
It does look cute though.
Right, I'm trying to log back in, see what happens.
Alright.
Because currently it's not showing to me at all, and if that's the case, we
As
have
long as there's no
week.
weeping willows around here.
Oh, there we go. Right. So it's
Yay.
a super compact. There we go.
Aye, it will be by the time.
So I need to pull it out about that wide.
It's a
and
smart
then
car.
it's not that smart. Certainly not a smart driver by the sound of it. Who did you say was driving?
Guess.
Who do you think?
Oh, of course. Okay, so who else was in the car with the suicidal professor?
I don't think any of us should be. I think
No.
we should
Right.
be in the van.
Okay, so
I think we should put your unconscious body in here.
Nope.
Safe space about you.
well,
Nope.
are you actually unconscious at the moment, or are you going
No,
with this?
I'm
Right, okay. So I'm just going to take these guys off.
I'll get it to the front line a lot quicker, guys. Don't worry.
Okay, so we are ready. So, you wait till night time when you are sure that the ritual is likely to be occurring, and you drive up around the estate, trying to avoid drawing attention to yourselves as much as you can. You're quite surprised by the fact that you seem to have managed to make it around into the area, sort of northwestish of the, no, northeastish, sorry, of the estate without being spotted. But you are aware that there are movement, there are people in the building, the house, the main estate itself. But driving with the lights off, you appear to have managed to get round them. As you start to drive up into the woods, it's a difficult drive because you're driving through the woods. So I'm going to need a driving test from you. If you don't have it, then what you're going to have to give me instead is a... let me just check what driving is.
I'm just waiting. You just
I
not.
hope it's not what I think it's going to be.
Okay, so I need to bring up the Cryptworld rules, and we'll just pan this out. I take it nobody is a stunt driver.
No.
I'm not
Funny
going
you should mention that.
It is actually, because you did look at it at one point and went, "How often is that going to come up?"
All right.
Where's the skills in this? Was it 73?
It's worth
73.
considering.
So
One of
I'm
these
gonna
days.
say, what's your perception plus your dexterity? Just tell us what each one is. Perception first.
Fucking calculator's bullshit. My
Just tell
perception's
us-
72.
Right, thank you. So 72 for your perception, and what's your dexterity?
38.
38. Okay.
So you're
Well, that's easy
110
enough. That's
total.
110. Half that
Oh,
is
is it?
55. So you have a 55% chance of being able to get the car anywhere near where you're hoping to get it without just wrapping it around a tree before you get there. And this is going to be fun. Give me a roll.
Hey.
Whoa.
Oh, dear me. Right,
Nice.
okay. So, as you come up through the woods, your car's bumping about. You take the wind mirrors ripped off by one of the trees as you're trying to get through, and you're thinking to yourself, Do you know what? It turns out woods are not well designed for driving a car through. And almost before you know it, you're suddenly upon the what do you call it, man? Fuck's sake.
Altar?
No,
Ritual site?
no.
Stay.
Stop just throwing words.
Glade?
At me. Glade will do. Yeah. Clearing. Thank you. Clearing is what I wanted. You're suddenly in the clearing. It's just kind of come up on you suddenly, or rather, you've come up on it suddenly. Suddenly enough that the two priests are taken utterly by surprise. One is trying to drag a screaming and terrified horse out of the corral as you suddenly
Run over the man that's trying to kill the pony.
Yes, as you suddenly come hurtling down. So, I'm going to ask you to give me an unskilled melee test. I've never seen anyone use a car.
I was actually
melee.
planning to just plow through all of them and the altar, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. So,
Try not to
An unskilled melee.
unskilled melee, so I can see how...
That's actually a pass by 4.
That's a pass by 4. So, this is... Let me just open... this is
I
Tolam
hope
the
this is gonna
Druid is
be-
the first man that you're going to hit. So Tolam, let's see if he gets out of the way. In fact, he's going to struggle to get out of the way because you're going to take out the side of the corral there as well with the onrushing car.
And he's got a horse, I guess.
Yeah. So I need to find... There he is, Tolam. Right you are. So, what is Tolam's...
Torlam is Tor was.
I've lost a bit of my bookie book. It's fallen off. Aha, there it is. So you passed by 4. His defense is column equal to his agility, so 45. So it's 3. So you've caused a light wound as you clip him, but he dives over the side of the thing into the... Oh, shit! Over he jumps, but he immediately takes a light wound. So could you, since you're hitting him with a car, you've only kind of sides bumped him really, give him 2d10 damage, please.
Oh,
12.
please tell me the horses trample him as well. Sorry.
Oh, the
Yeah,
horse
but
bucks
true.
up and comes down on him.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Also, your car's not travelling at anything like the speed you were hoping because you've just come through the woods and you've had to avoid trees and go over roots and under branches, and it slowed you a lot. So you didn't hit him with the force you'd kind of hoped. However, you did inflict 12 points of damage. I'm just going to check that. That seems a hell of a lot of stamina. Jesus, that's a lot of stamina. Okay, so he's flung over the side of the corral as you come tearing through. You're then going to slam into these wooden things I warned you about. So you're going to send 2 of these flying. You can either take the serpent and the bull, or the bull and the stag.
Which one do we want to fight?
Oh, you just get... Oh my god, is this one a thing where it's we destroy the serpent one and then you can't turn into a serpent form? Is this how it goes?
You have no idea, but it is going to have an effect. Whichever you pick now will have a future effect. So,
Go with my theory. Whichever one's left is the one you can turn into. Which form do we want to fight? Worm, probably, right?
You're gonna have to be quick. You haven't really.
I'm
got
gonna
much
leave the
thinking time.
worm. All right.
There isn't a worm. There's
Say them again.
Leave one with fur on it. It'll set fire easier.
serpent, bull, or stag are your options. So, and you will hit the bull. The bull is the centre. The question is, do you then
I'll leave the serpent then.
You're going to leave the serpent. So you're going to take out this one,
Stags have big pointy
which
antlers.
is completely flung forwards and smashed, and the other one's crushed under the car wheel as the car comes thundering forward and slams into the altar, taking this other druid by surprise as well. So I'm going to say this is catastrophic damage. So Ben, could you give me the roll of 1d100, please? I'm going to assume that your skill is 100 at this point because you're just hitting
38.
38. So you've passed by
42.
52. No.
52.
Yeah, 62. Shit. Right. Okay.
62.
62,
Oh, right, yeah, math.
and Temek's agility is only 30. 30 is 62. So you've critically hit him, so he takes a critical wound. Can you do me 66 damage, please? You've also knocked him flying, so he's gone over the bonnet
Do you
through
mean
the windscreen.
60-10?
So I do mean 60-10, yeah, sorry.
Oh, what a shame.
He takes 36 damage then.
Ooh.
Right, you are. So he's in quite a bad way. Whereas you just clipped the other guy, you've hit this guy full on, and you've catapulted him. Actually, you probably catapulted him backwards into the trees, where he goes down, and is.
Are you going to keep going?
Yeah.
Well, you're not getting any further than that because you've hit the thing. Hold on, let me just.
Good thing. Your car does have a seatbelt, right?
You did 36 damage. Well, here's the point, because you also did a catastrophic injury to yourself. So I'll roll actually for this.
I mean, I did say to jump out, but
I mean, can we assume I'm wearing a seatbelt? Because I'm not an idiot.
I would assume you are wearing a seatbelt because, I mean, I wouldn't say you're not an idiot, but you're not that much of an idiot. So I'm going to say that the catastrophic damage you're going to take is slightly a lower margin. So let me just see how.
I'm going to instantly kill myself, aren't I?
Yes. So you have also suffered quite substantially. What is your agility? No,
My
give me your
agility?
stamina, because you're trapped in this car. It's not like you can jump outside of it. So give me your stamina.
My stamina is 48.
Undamaged stamina is 48, so that would give you a column 4. Because you've got your seat belt on, I'm going to improve that a little bit. You have a heavy wound, so take a heavy wound, and you're also going to take 66 damage.
ooh, ouch.
You take 27 stamina damage. The
Wait
car,
a minute.
yeah,
Attempting. I was just attempting to do the heavy wound. I've done it.
It's lower.
And I've taken 27
the
damage.
car has
Okay.
deflected off that way and is, you think the official term for what you've just done to the car is fucked it. The
hole has been exposed.
The hole has been exposed. The altar has been smashed. The druids are furious. And the one that's actually still capable has just grabbed his sickle. He's ignoring the horse now, and he's coming for you. He's come rushing over, and he's wrenching the door open, brandishing a sickle as you're pinned in the crumple zone of the car with your seatbelt on, trying to get frantically out as this maniac comes at you. Yes, what would you like to say?
18 music, and the van comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
So you crank the A-Team theme tune up, da da da, and a van comes hurtling in behind. I need to find a van now, you
Fuck's sake.
people.
It could be off screen, it's fine. We'll just run in.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So the rest of you now come streaming in behind to assist. So as this guy comes rushing out to attack them, that's when the rest of you
Oh,
come.
Jesus, he's big.
I'm massive. I'll just stomp on them.
Right, well, once again, the same thing's happening. I can't see any of the characters appearing on the thing. So I'm going to have
Chris
to
is
log
about
out.
20 foot tall.
Right,
boom, boom.
Right, just let me log out. I can't even log out and back in.
Ah, weird.
It has
It
completely
is very odd that
crashed.
you can't see your own tokens.
Yeah, I can't see them at all. If you guys weren't describing
Can you
them, I
guys
think I
move?
hadn't gone in.
Can you guys move the tokens?
If so, could you drop them to one square apiece, please? Inside.
There's a little tiny
Bloody hell.
Alexis.
Right,
Why
stop.
does someone
I
fill the
was-
goal?
Right, I can literally only see Chris's character. Oh no, wait a minute. Ah, right, okay. So, Celeste's there. Can anybody see anyone other than Chris and Marie?
I can
No.
No.
I can see the druid priest
Okay.
It's the horses.
on the
um,
point.
So Sir Oswald should be in the car. So let's try that. Ah, he appeared straight
Okay.
away this time.
So,
So Alexis
Good
should
evening.
be over here. Yep, that appeared as well. and Jimmy should be here.
Lovely.
Okay, so of you guys, who has the highest dexterity?
It was agility last time, wasn't it?
Agility is indeed what I meant.
Me.
You have, so.
50.
That's what I remember.
Jimmy, yours is what?
52.
52. Okay, whose is the next highest?
Mine. 50.
So that is... Christ, I can't remember the character's name.
Aiden.
Aiden at 50. And we've got Alexis and Collette. Who's got the highest of the two of you?
I think me, I have 36.
I've got 48.
You got
Okay.
48. So Collette at 48 and Alexis at... what did you say, 36?
Yeah.
36, excellent. So, and the two baddies have agility of 30 and 45. So, so that is Tolam. And
So even with a
is,
critical wound.
Tanek is at 4. No, so Tolam and Tanek are both at 45 actually. So Druids, no, because I'm reading their dexterity. Agility 30, agility 45. Right, so 30. There we go. Right, sorry about that. Confused myself a little bit. I did. Okay, so so this guy is Tolam. That's Tolam. So he is the one that's come rushing out and is on 45. So that means before he can get to Sir Thingy Thing to murder him to death, Jimmy and Aiden and Collette will all get to act first. I don't seem to have your dexterity listed here. What's Sir Oswald's?
Sir Oswald's is 42.
42? Okay. So, Sir Oz 42. Right, you are. Okay, so, Jimmy, what are you doing?
How many squares can I move, please?
Clean across this,
Great.
this map, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to climb up on top of the car, and I'm going to drop Sphere of Protection.
Okie dokie. So I'm just going to activate your sphere of protection with a tint color of green.
I have to roll for it first, yeah?
You do, yeah. You'll be doing that while I'm setting it up ready.
Right.
Oh,
pass.
it would be a 10-meter circle, wouldn't it? Because it's 30 feet. Is that right?
I seem to recall 15 being mentioned previously.
15, so do I, yes. So that would be, because it's trying to do it in meters. So I need to do, there we go, and I need to make sure you can see it. And, okay, so that's covering the entire area. That does not sound right to me. Yeah.
They can't defend themselves now. Get them.
That's not.
Each square is a meter on the map.
Right.
It's only 9 by.
That's what's
whatever.
going wrong.
Right.
Hold on. That's what's going wrong. It's measuring the map in meters, and it should be in imperial. So feet and 5. That's better. Right, you are. So, so the attacking priest, actually, as you run up there and cast that, the attacking priest screams like he's been injured and dropping to the ground, crawls out of the thing. It occurs to you that this shouldn't happen to a human.
Right.
This should only happen to a creature.
When he dropped to his knees, did he also drop his sickle?
I'm going to say yes. We'll say yes. It
Can
is.
I grab it?
No, because you've already taken your action this round, which was in.
I point to it and say, "Somebody grab that."
Aiden, you to go next. What you want to do?
I'm going to free the horses.
Okay, so you free the horses. who immediately start galloping off.
Obviously, I'm
in
going to
the
let people
distance.
know horses in the way.
Yep. Okay, so you're freeing the horses, so that would be Collette next. What are you doing?
I was going to pet one of the ponies. Um, I'm going to go and try and help Jimmy to pull Professor Oswald out the car.
Okay, move yourself over to the side door there, then, please. You
Because
can be-
obviously, our doors are knacked, but I've got the knack for getting them open.
Yes. The door is actually quite difficult. Give me a security devices. It's not actually intended as a security device, but it will be about as difficult to open. So give me a security device skill.
Do you know my skill actually is 84?
There you go.
Oh,
So
wow.
you produce a small cat's paw from the. For anybody who doesn't know, cat's paw is a very small crowbar. It's about 6 inches long. You produce a cat's paw, jam it into the side of the door, and with all your might start heaving. You can hear the metal screaming and twisting, and eventually, poof, it pops open, the door flies wide, and you are able to help Sir Oswald stagger out as he's trying to get out with his seatbelt still on because he's still a bit dazed, but he does eventually manage to realise that that's the problem. And he's getting releasing it, or he will be when it gets to his turn.
Good
So that's
heavens,
Collette.
I seem to have been in an accident.
So it is the druids next. So this one that's been driven out of the circle of protection is now going to go. He's going to attack Aiden, screaming in a language you don't recognise, you don't understand at all.
Do I?
You will, yes. It's ancient Gaelic. So he has dropped his sickle. So instead, screaming at you in Gaelic, he thrusts his hand forward, and just as if he's trying to tear the heart out of your body, you hear the pain in your chest. It's intense. Let's just see for how long. Because if he fails this dice roll, the pain in your chest will last seconds and then you'll shrug it off. If he passes this dice roll, you'll be in a little bit more trouble than that. So let me just find the bad guy. This is Tolam, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tolam the Druid. And he uses his wound, evil way discipline. So there we go. Tolam calls upon the powers of darkness to wound his foe. It's a subjection difficult thingy, and I have a feeling he's maybe failed there. Oh, shit. No, he's passed, but by 0.
Oh, wow.
It's exactly on what he needed, 85. So this is a subjection discipline, which means, Chris, what is your willpower? That's what you resist with.
My willpower is 48.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So your willpower is 48. Take a light wound, please. As you're screaming in pain, as your heart is trying to burst out of the front of your chest. Lose 7 stamina. You eventually manage to convince your heart to go nowhere. You're staying the fuck in there, pal. As the pain in your chest is intense, but you're struggling on through it. The wound that's been caused by it, you can almost feel it tearing out, but then it just kind of, you manage to shrug the rest of the effect off. So you're still with us for now, at least. That's Tolam acted. The other druid, all he can do at the moment is pick himself up and try to get the hell away from this defensive ring. So he's going to...
He took a critical wound, didn't he?
Crawl over this way. Yeah. He's got a critical
Don't you
wound.
take, like, damage per round for that?
You do. So you did the wound to him. You can roll 2d20 for his injury. So 2d10 rather. Sorry.
Oh, it's a shame.
16?
Ooh,
16. Okay, so minus 16 on him. He's coughing up blood at this stage. There's blood gushing from the various wounds you inflicted when you rammed the now shattered altar straight into him, and he was pinned between that and the tree for a while. He's crawling his way out of it. He's in an extremely extremely bad way, he is going to try and summon. That's really not going to help him at this point. No, well, he's going to try and do something supernatural anyway. So let me just pull up Temact.
I'm gonna summon it in real life if you keep saying his name.
Oh, okay. Why is that broke? Let me just have a look. That shouldn't be broke. Yeah, that should be working. Why are you not working? You wee swine. Yeah. Oh, it worked the second time. Okay, that's interesting. So 64. His evil waste goes right. So he's passed. So a wave of fog begins to descend upon the whole proceedings, just to further add confusion to the circumstances. So let's just add a bit of fog to this, shall we? I do apologise. I'm having some difficulties with the technological side of the thing today, which is a shame because it worked very well yesterday. Okay, try missed. Nope, don't fancy that either, do you know? Okay, well, there's some fog rolling in all around you. You'll just have to imagine it. A bit of theatre of the mind never harmed anybody. So you're all now struggling to see more than 3 squares. Is what you can see clearly. Beyond that, you're going to start to need perception tests, as this fog just seems to rise out of the ground at his bidding. It sort of swells out of the ground and rolls across like some kind of Michael Jackson video. Only without the dancing people in the background and the obvious legal issues 40 years down the line. So that is the 2 druids having done their thing. We will have Sir Oswald, it's you to go next, and you're trying to get out of the car at the moment.
I will continue to try and get out the car then.
Okay, so you can put yourself outside the car, but you are a bit stunned from the impact. So you managed to get out and look around for something to do. What else would you like to try and do this round?
I would like to pick up the weapon the other guy left.
Okay, so you've picked up a sickle, which means that your unskilled melee attacks will now do weapon damage instead of non-weapon damage. You will be
Fantastic.
over the moon to hear, I am sure. So that's Oswald. So, Miss Strange, what would you like to do?
Well, I did see where the priest was before. I'm going to approach here. If I can't really see him, I'll use the edge of this to guide me towards where he.
Okay, so as the fog starts to enshroud the area, making it difficult for you to see where you're going, you find the edge of the corral, working your way along it. You eventually see the form of the priest loom out of the fog at you, or you more loom out of the fog at him, actually, as his concentration is on your colleague. So what would you like to do?
I'm brandishing that fancy dagger.
Okie dokie. Brandish,
and
brandish.
Stab him with it.
Okay, go for it.
Hopefully I actually hit. Where is my thingamabobby? Right. Roll? Why is it not rolling?
I don't know. Why is it not rolling?
I clicked it. Okay, I'll try it again.
Okay, give it
I
another
don't know
go.
if it's just...
This probably only got it twice last time.
Yeah.
For some reason it's not rolling. That's weird.
Okay, let me have a look and see what has technologically gone wrong now. Found some animated fog I can place over the...
I'll just roll D100 instead.
Yeah, go for it.
Weird. Ah, bollocks.
That's a miss? Okay. So you lunge out of the fog and slash at the guy. He doesn't even see you coming. But unfortunately for you, he does manage to avoid you by lunging forward for your enemy. Just as you slash him where the neck would have been, he's kind of lunged forward. And you miss him by not a great deal, really. That's the really infuriating part of it all. Okay, so that is us back round to the beginning. So, Jimmy, what would you like to do?
When he screamed and crawled out of my field of protection,
Yes.
do I get the sense that it actually damaged him in any way, or it was just uncomfortable?
It didn't damage him, but it had exactly the effect it should have had on a creature from the unknown, which means
Yeah.
this might look like a human, but it isn't.
Right. So I can move and take an action, right?
You can move and take an action, yes.
Okay. Before the fog rolled in, did I see that he was in danger?
Give me a perception test. I'll say a general rather than a specific one, and a simple pass or fail.
Right.
Ooh,
No, you didn't.
Right.
wow.
Well, okay. Had that at some point.
You saw absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Struck blind in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep my sphere of protection up.
Okay, so roll the points for your willpower cost again, then, please.
7.
Okay, so take 7 points off your.
It's done that thing again, Brian.
Oh no, not again, has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's become very close friends with my perception.
Right. Okay, so I'll just open your character sheet again and see if I can fix it for you for the third time.
As soon as you alter it, it jumps apart and becomes editable again.
That's strange, isn't it? So you've lost 7, you said.
That's right, yeah.
So it's 12 you're down to. Oh dear, you really are burning through these.
Oh yeah. But don't come to roleplay and not use powers.
Well, quite, yeah. Just as well, because you're certainly burning through 'em.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it is Aiden next. What would you like to do?
Chris?
Chris, what would you like to do?
You're muted.
Lasso time.
Okay. Are you trying to lasso the druid you're fighting, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Lasso him to the fence to try and subdue him.
Okay, go for it.
Never mind.
Wow.
Okay. So you attempt to lasso him and he ducks under it and out of the way. He kind of spits wrathfully in your direction.
Can I move back?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, no problem. Collette, what would you like to do?
Right, so I'm just going to have a quick. Is the car completely kaput? Yeah.
Yeah, it's buggered.
Okay, I'm going to pop the boot and see if there's any. See if I've got any kind of crowbar or anything in there. You know, basic car tools.
Yeah, you'll have some basic car tools. Yeah.
A wrench or
Right.
something.
Now I'm tooled up.
Right, so now your unskilled melee attacks will be doing weapon damage as well.
Salute 2.
So can I still attack one of the high priests, or is that
well,
me done for the round?
That'll be you done because you'll be there
Yeah.
rummaging through the boot. So that's Collette done. So it is Sir Oswald to go.
Okay. I want to attack this guy here.
Okie dokie. So you're going to have to move. Could you just give me a not dexterity, sorry, the other one?
Agility?
Agility, thank you.
I passed.
You passed, so you managed not to fall down the hole as you race past to attack this guy.
Close.
Give me an attack roll, please.
Okay. I pass. I passed by 19.
Okay, so you've passed by 19. His defense column is 3. So 19, you've knocked him over and done a medium wound, which is what are you armed with, or are you unarmed?
It was his sickle, or
It was
whatever
his
he was
sickle.
using.
So you've done 4d10 damage, and he's going to have to record a medium wound as well.
Very nice.
I'll be 22 damage.
22 damage and 1 medium wound. So save that and take 22 off of there. So he's in quite a bad way as you slash him across the back with a sickle, as he's bleeding heavily from the injury you have inflicted. And next, yeah, the blood is oddly dark.
Mm-hmm.
So next up,
What does it
after-
taste like?
Oh,
Yeah.
tar. Next up would be Miss Strange.
Ooh, okay. Could I say necessarily that my pistol has a silencer on it?
Not really.
Oh, bollocks.
Also, silencers are not as effective as the movies make them seem.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't want to make more noise than I don't want to have any.
Well, hang on, you don't want to make more noise than crushing a car into the altar.
That's true.
Gunshots are a little bit more specific.
They're nowhere here.
Oh, they know you're here by now. We've crashed a
Yeah.
car into the altar. Yeah.
I'm kind of more worried about police or something. Oh, fuck it, I'll fire at him. I'll put the dagger away.
Okay.
Just sneeze really loud whenever you fire the gun. Then they'll just think it was someone sneezing.
No, I don't think that's going to work. So you draw your firearm and pointing it at the creature, fire. Roll to hit.
Okay.
So just point out that actually firing a firearm on a state like this might not be quite the attraction of the police that you think.
Yeah,
Mm.
and everything.
I think the police have probably been long since paid off or are in the employ in some other way of the owner of the estate. Don't come poking around
So
on my land.
44, how much did you pass by?
That is a pass by 15.
15. So you've done a medium injury to him. That will cause 4d10 damage, please.
40-10. Ah, that was shit. Better than nothing, I suppose.
So that becomes 2 medium wounds. How much did you do? 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not the best roll.
Minus 12. Okay, so it clips him as he's sort of struggling with Aiden, who dashes out of his grip. He kind of lunges over the thing, and you fire, boom, graze him across the back. He's got a lot of wounds to his back, this guy.
All that
So
running.
that's strange. That is the druid himself. Actually, should have gone first, but never mind. In the chaos, things have not panned out how he imagined. He's going to clamber over that and try and find the man who ran away, which he does with alarming success, all things considered. And he is going to lunge and attack at you. So that is Tolam. Tolam will unskilled melee you this time. Only he's not armed, so he's just like wailing on you with his fists. Or he's trying to, but he's coming nowhere near you at all. He's like swinging wildly. You know when you see these kind of YouTube videos that are designed to be laughed at, where you've got a professional boxer on one side and somebody just like pinwheeling their arms madly and hitting nothing at all. That's what's happening. He's not even coming close. He's just lashing out almost blindly. So it is now the other guy. Ben,
Who
you were
will
the
be-
one that critically injured him. You get
Yep.
to roll the 2d10 damage again.
11.
11. Okay. So he's crawling away to safety when suddenly the light goes out of his eyes and he collapses to the ground, bleeding out. Or at least you think he's bleeding out.
Yay.
Why isn't that cross staying
It's not
put
one
on there?
is it? It's like flashing up.
It's flashing on and off. We are having a lot of odd little technical issues with the platform today. Well, he's dead anyway. I'm gonna take him off because the other thing that happens is as he dies, he starts to dissolve into the floor, into the forest floor.
Oh god, is this gonna count? Nah, the altar's destroyed. It'll be fine.
Who knows? Who dares to wonder? That is the last of them. So that's Tamlet has cocked it, and we're back round to Jimmy. What would you like to do?
did I see that druid priest run off to the south?
Give me a perception test because it's out in the fog there.
So if I didn't see him do it, then I've no reason to move, you know?
Aye.
Yeah.
Actually, having said that, the one who summoned the fog has died. The fog just starts to drift apart.
That's a pass.
That's a pass. So yes, you saw him run after your friend.
In which case, he said I could act in. Well, I haven't acted yet. I've just looked. So I'm going to move to the south to include him in the protection field, possibly just jumping over this fence or jumping onto it.
Okay, go
Sitting
for
on
it.
the fence, maybe.
Again,
protecting
he
him.
screams and dashes backwards out of the way of the thing.
Oh.
It's almost like he's been repelled by it.
To be fair, hang on. I need to do the upkeep first.
You do, yeah.
So I wouldn't do the move
Yeah.
unless I could do the upkeep.
Okay, go for it. So
7.
another 7 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, I do that move.
So yes, he's thrust out of the way of your sphere of protection, just like some creature from the unknown. You've got no idea what's going on. That shouldn't happen to a human. This is definitely
human.
not human at all. So that's Jimmy. So it's Aiden to go. As you see, the man that you've been fighting with is driven out of the sphere of protection of your colleague. You come to the same conclusion. Whatever this man is, it's not human.
Because I have a bit more distance between them, I'm going to try the lasso again.
Okay, go for it.
It's a pass by 11, 12, 13, 14.
14. So it's a medium pass with a lasso. So you fling the lasso over him and kind of pin one of his arms. The other one's still kind of loose. And you're now, you've got him sort of semi-pinned. Not
Yeah, I was
quite
gonna,
as
I was gonna
perfect.
say I was gonna pull it tight and then down to the ground.
Okay, you can try that. What's your strength?
My strength is 42.
I'm feeling that you have a very good chance. Okay, so yeah, you're dragging him down to the ground. He's struggling to stay on his feet. As we move from you to Collette to go next.
Come and twat him one with a wrench.
Yeah. Gonna come and twat him one with a wrench.
Right, you are. You go dashing in. Yes, you go dashing in and try to smack him around the face with a wrench. Go ahead and make a roll.
Pass by 2.
2 is good enough at this point. He currently can't defend himself normally, so I need to roll a d10 and it can't go higher than column 3. Okay, so he still gets a column 3 defense. What did you say you'd passed by?
2.
2, okay. So you've inflicted a light wound on him. That's going to be another 2d10 damage, please. And he takes his second light wound. So any further light wounds he takes would become medium, but he's already got a medium wound.
11 points
so it
of
would
damage.
go up again. 11 points of damage. Okay, so you smack him in the nose and break his nose.
Ouchie.
It sounds a little bit more than light, but there you go. He kind of spits black blood at you. He's not impressed. He's not happy about being beaten to death by you mere mortals. It's him to go. So he's the one that dropped his thing. So he's going to try a wound again, I think. I'll just get rid of that guy because he's dead. So he's going to reach out towards the man who's holding him in position with the other arm. He reaches out, points at you, and then brings his hand back and draws it across his own neck. As
Point
he
of
does
clarity.
that, yep.
The lasso, is that not binding his arms to his sides?
I specifically said it bound one of his arms to his side because of
I
his
didn't
because
catch
he only
that.
got
Beg
a
your pardon.
medium result. Yeah, that's why he's able to do this. Although technically he doesn't need to do the hand bits, but he reaches out, points at you, then brings it back and draws his hand across his throat. You can feel your neck opening up, blood
Field
dripping
of protection.
down from there. So you can feel nothing of the kind. It's all in your mind. Nothing happens because this your sphere of protection protects you from those effects.
You tell them.
Yes, quite. So Miss Strange, you to go next.
Can I get a shot at him from here, or will I need to move?
You need to move a little bit unless you want to shoot through Collette.
Can we coup de grace in this?
Yes.
Point blank to the head.
Well, he's still able to move a little bit, so he wouldn't be able to coup de grace a conscious man who's not entirely restrained.
Yeah. All right.
He only got a medium result with his lasso, remember? That wasn't very good.
Do I get any bonus for him being restrained?
Yes, I'll give you +10 to hit.
Okay. That's a pass by 10 then.
Pass by 10, did you say? The +10 I've just given you to hit. That really rubs it in, doesn't it? So once again, he defends on 3s. That's a medium wound. That immediately goes up to a heavy because he's got 2 medium wounds, which means you've just inflicted 6 dice of damage to him.
Ooh, 60-10.
I don't think he's going to make it, if I'm strictly honest.
29 damage.
He's definitely not going to make it.
Yes.
You see, his little green aura isn't changing either, even though he's now very dead. So there is definitely a lot of technical issues tonight. So I'll remove him as you fire the shot. Hits him in the side of the face, blows his jaw off completely. He collapses to the ground and begins to dissolve until only the ritual cape he was wearing remains.
And
So we get to the house.
Up at the house, you can hear shouting as people are organising themselves to come down, you assume, and investigate. You are left in the ritual space with the horses galloping away in this gaping hole in the ground from which you're sure you can hear strange noises.
Oh, God.
Start siphoning the petrol out of the car.
Okay.
Okay.
I am going to jump over here and smash that remaining figurine.
Ah, bollocks. Right, okay.
Well remembered, Jenny.
I'm just going to move Ben out the way and Jenny out the way because every time I get close enough to remove this...
Jenny just goes over and pushes me out of the way. Get out of the way.
Right, yeah, I'm then going to pull
I fall down the hole. Ah!
So you've smashed the last of the pottery figurines. You shatter it. It just breaks apart into little bits and pieces. Okay, what's everybody doing now? Jimmy's siphoning petrol out of the...
I think maybe we need to get into some kind of positions ready to see. Because they're coming down here, aren't they?
Right, get any bits of broken wood from the altar and the fence or what have you. Throw it down that hole.
Yeah, the impression you get is the hole is a lot more important than the house.
Yeah, throw it all down that hole. We've got the petrol. We throw the petrol on top of the wood. Accelerant, fuel, spark. Whenever anything comes up, it gets burned.
Get the bits of pottery or whatever the figurines were and put them down there as well.
There wasn't a wrench in the boot, was there?
There was. It's being used by Collette to store the guys.
I thought that was the... Okay.
What do you want a wrench for?
A weapon?
Oh. You probably got like a tire iron or something. There'll be other tools.
Oh, yeah, there's other tools.
There might be like a branch you could pick up.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of things. And bear in mind your safe standard equipment kit has a stake in it, or you could use as a weapon.
Actually,
stakes are not only for vampires, you know.
I'll toss him my normal dagger. I do have a
Well, my equipment as a
He
zoologist,
must have been a vampire.
I would have had blade, but it's fine. Yeah, we'll get on with it.
Yeah. So you're tossing a lot of accelerant down the hole. It goes down the hole. You can see it draining down the stairs into the darkness. Nothing comes up to stop you.
That's fine. It can wait there until something starts to come out of it. Then we'll chuck a match down. Quick question: are there some like environmental effects? Is there like a sort of wind sound?
No. I can't get the
Wow.
sound to work. I haven't been able to since yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure I could hear like
Yeah.
Yes, I can keep hearing wind sound.
Just
Is
I
it
can
not
hear-
just windy outside?
Yeah, probably.
For somebody, it must be. Yeah.
there's just some like ghost shit going on.
This is kind of cool.
So as you are waiting around the top of this hole, you can see there are a couple of people moving down from the house. They're getting a lot closer. You doing anything at all?
I am going
How many are there?
to hide behind this
Sorry,
tree.
4 people talked at once, so I've no idea what any of them said.
Sorry.
So I'm not even sure who they were, so I can't just ask everybody.
How
to
many
repeat.
people are coming down from the house?
It looks like 2.
Jenny,
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Jenny, you have a gun. Just threaten them.
I don't have a gun.
I'm
I
waiting.
said Jenny.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Jimmy.
Jimmy, you're going to have to drop your.
Oh,
Because we're
well,
out of-
yeah, it's already dropped. It's I think at the end of combat.
Okie dokie. Yes, that's right. So I'm going to remove that from you. Sorry, Jenny, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be hiding behind a tree, ready to shoot anyone from behind cover.
I'm going to get myself as far up the field as possible and conceal myself in the woods. I want to try and get behind them when they get down.
I want to yell at them.
Okay. So move yourselves to where you're going to be anyway.
I want to yell at them in the ancient Gaelic, specifically the language the other dudes were talking in.
Right.
You're going
Okay.
to wear the cloak.
Someone's
No,
gonna-
I don't know. It might do something.
Okay.
We'll see.
So is there anything in particular you're going to yell at them?
Honestly, I'm probably just gonna say like you're outnumbered. We've already destroyed the pottery. You know, your ritual's a failure, and I'm just yelling that in the Gaelic to show that like they can't hide anything. I guess like no matter what language you speak, I'm gonna understand you. I don't know. It might be an intimidation. They might be like, oh shit, he knows what we're about.
There is a loud report and then a second one as somebody discharges a double-barrel shotgun in your general direction.
Miss.
Colette's car, suddenly the tyre bursts and the back window gets shattered because that's where the shotgun blast went. You've got the impression these guys were not impressed by your threat, but one of them shouts back in ancient Gaelic. But he's shouting it sort of, there's a lot of the sound of gunfire, there's the wind, there's... Give me an ancient language, just see if you make out what he's saying.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm gonna suggest we chuck a
Yes.
match down the
Fine.
hole and get in the van.
Passed by 96.
Wow.
Passed by 96, right. Okay, so you understand that he's kind of laughing at you, he's kind of mocking at you. You've stopped nothing but the support ritual. The Lord Kernanos will still summon Lug.
And how will he do that?
You've got the impression there's a sound of scraping out coming from the woods. You've got the impression he's taken out those 2 shotgun cartridges he's discharged and he's reloading.
There's a sound of scraping. What is it? Is that the barrel that he's scraping for ideas?
No, he's just popping the ammunition out, ready to reload and refire. What's everybody doing?
Well, I suggested chucking a match down the hole and running to get in the van.
Okay.
But
Is that what everybody's going with?
Well, I would kind of like to wait until they're close enough on the map for me to get behind them, because I'd like to attempt to like thieve all their ammo off them so that they can't use the guns anymore.
Yeah. Okay. I
Just
think.
pickpocket them.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a stealth test and then a theft test, please. They're currently.
Before they,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like, can I? Because you know how like some people when they have like when they're like full of power and all that, they sometimes like say things they shouldn't because
Yeah,
they feel like they're gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
I want to somehow maybe manipulate the situation or the conversation in a way for them to tell us how the other ritual's going to work. Because maybe he's like, oh, this person's going to die, I'm going to show that we've actually won and I'm going to tell them how we've won.
I think essentially we just need to stab whoever is embodying.
Oh, by
Okay, so
the
you're
ritual.
essentially trying to distract them and find out this information, which isn't working, but it does mean that his concentration is entirely on you. So Jimmy has a much better opportunity to get round behind him.
I rolled a 36. That's under my agility of 52.
Yep, so you've managed to sneak round behind them. They didn't see you coming at all. You suddenly kind of come out of the trees behind them. You've seen where he got his ammunition from in his pocket. He's fired another blast. I suppose I should roll to see if he did manage to hit.
I'm going to get in the van and put the lights on full beam.
Oh, right, you are. Just as he fires, the lights come on full beam. He sort of shanks the shot. He turns, points at the van. Boom! One of the lights explodes as the shotgun hits it. He puts his hand in his pocket and he finds Jimmy's nicked all his ammunition and is now off on his heels. What? My ammunition? It's gone. There's somebody in the woods there. Quick, stop him.
Match and into the van. Unless you want to stab one of them.
I think we should finish them off while we're here.
Probably.
One of them could be the guy.
What are they going to shoot us with now?
True.
He's got a very big, expensive club.
Okay, so I assume are you going to lure him back towards the other players? So that I can actually fit them on this map.
Yeah, totally.
Is that what's going to happen? Yes, good.
Is there we don't have anything that can actually fire shotgun shells. So educate me. Is there some way of hitting it on the metal end? That
No, you wouldn't provide enough force.
You'd probably blow up your hand if you tried it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you'd have to get down with an awl and hit it with a hammer, and then you'd
put it into a fire, but then it'll go every direction.
Yeah. So if we put it into the fire down this pit.
Well, have you actually started that fire? Because
Jenni's
mentioned it a couple of times, but nobody's actually said they were doing it.
Yep.
It hasn't been set off yet, no.
Okay, so these are the
I think
two
the idea
guys
was
that are
to wait.
chasing you. Okay. So I'm just going to put Jimmy about there, which is where you are as you're kind of running back towards.
Yep.
As the two men come running after you, one of them begins to warp and change till he is. I should be able to Control Z that to show you.
Was it the guy who was out? I was
being the
talking
day
to.
that it is, that isn't going to happen. No, it's just moving it instead. That's okay.
You are not a handsome
You're going
boy.
to have to zoom in closely. But what you do notice is where the creature's hands should be. They're just huge, savage claws.
Ah, there we go.
They look suspiciously similar to something you've seen before. Okay, so this guy is going to run up after you, and this guy has now, the monster has spotted Sir Oswald and Collette by the hole.
Right. I'm going to shout as a bluff. I'm going to put up my I'm going to put my sphere of protection, and see if they keep aware. Because
they do actually. Funnily enough, they do actually slow down. Yes. So I just need to drag out the stats for these particular creatures.
This is the guy who's
that's the.
He's our end goal.
Okay,
we
so so the Hookthagus has an agility of 75, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go first.
God.
And
is this thing the size of a human, or is it much bigger or smaller?
It's smaller. It's only about 4 feet tall.
Oh my god, and them claws, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The claws are massive compared to the rest of the size of its body. And 45, so he goes here.
About the size of a Bengal then.
Collette, run to the van. Are you gonna get fucked?
I might jump in the hole and then use myself as bait.
Okay, so Well, the first thing to happen is the Hookthagus comes blasting straight towards you. It comes thundering up. It looks straight at you. It is a horrendous creature to look at. It is got a fear factor as well. So, I have a fear check from Collette and Sir Oswald, please.
Is that a willpower roll?
It is, yes. If you pass, I need to know how much by.
Ah, oh, failed by 2.
You failed. Right, you are.
I
So,
failed by 8.
okay, so both of you roll 2d10. That's how many willpower points you are going to lose. You are stricken with fear and are forced to either flee or
Oh, that's fine by
hide
me.
for the remainder of the round.
59 left. Not 59,
As the
49
creature
left.
comes thundering in towards you, slashing at you with its hooks. I do believe it gets to it.
And I'm going to let out an ear-splitting scream.
Okay. You let out an ear-splitting scream as it slashes its hook towards you, and shit, I think it might have missed.
Does it have fur?
It has missed. No, it doesn't. So it slashes at you, and it misses you by about half an inch. It also slashes out towards Sir Oswald as well with the other slashy clawy thing, but comes nowhere near him. And the pair of you just like, off you go, too terrified to act. So Jimmy, you to go next. What would you like to do?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've got a whole lot left in terms of willpower. Right, so I can't do anything magical. Bit screwed in that sense. I've already nicked all the ammo. Right. Okay. Better part of Valor. Everybody else is running off, yeah?
It would seem so.
I'm not.
You're not. Then no.
Okay.
You see, the two closest people have run off.
Right. In which case, can I dump? If I've already got an oil lamp as part of my standard kit.
Yeah.
Can I dump a lighter or some manner of ignition down that hole into the fuel that's already prepped, and throw all the shot down it while I'm running over to where Alexis is?
Yeah,
Oh, I was gonna use myself as bait in that hole.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah, you dump that down there, and there's a sudden detonation as the fuel that you've spilled down there goes up. So let me just put a little fire marker on. That's odd. No fire came up in the options there. Fuck's sake.
Whoosh.
I'm hoping that all the shot will come firing out and might hit it.
Does anybody see the flames?
Yes.
That I've just put?
Yes.
Right, so it's doing the same thing to me as well. There we go. So I'm having to log back in for like the 90th time.
We appreciate how you suffer for your art.
I do indeed. Okay, so the hole is now gouting flame and all sorts of.
And I stood right next to it.
Yes.
Tasha's getting singed.
So, and then you're off and running. So, who is up next? Let me just see.
It is moi.
It is you indeed. What would you like to do?
So you said that you wanted to stab the minion of Lug.
Yes.
No, wait, not the minion of Lug. This guy.
Nope. I want to
No,
stop.
who's the big bad? Is it this guy or this guy?
It's this guy, I think.
Okay. No worries. Do we drive a car, another vehicle into them, or do we? I've got the beams on. Is that affecting them in any way?
Well,
The
you shot
one
them
beam.
out. There's one
both
beam
of them?
left, so it's not really having a great deal of effect. It's dazzling him a little bit, so he can't see anything. So
No worries. I'll leave the car door open in case Collette is wanting to get in. Other than that, I'm just going to get ready to go when we need to, I guess.
Actually, I might be wrong, so I'm going to try stabbing both of them.
Okay, well, it is
Safer that way.
this guy to go next. So he's going to
Ready
run
on the
over.
wheel.
Is it him? Yes, it is him. It's him next. So he's fairly confident that his creature is going to be able to deal with that panicking toff. So he's going to run past that to probably, yeah, he's going to engage Alexa, who you can see is armed. So he's going to attempt to engage you and stop you being anything
I
of a
did
threat.
say I'm putting up a shield of protection, or a sphere of protection. Has my bluff failed?
Yeah, well, you're around behind the car. He's forgotten about that. He's concentrating on dealing with the person who's about to shoot him. He comes racing in. He doesn't bounce off it. So when he does spot you coming around the other side of the car, he realizes there's no shield of protection there. Yeah. So he is going to. Let me see now. Hello, Cal. He's going to. I think he is going to smack you with a whip. So he takes. Oh dear. Ouch. That's quite nasty. So what's your agility?
36.
36. So at 36, you're on a defense column of 3. He's hit you with a critical hit. So he cracks the whip. It smacks you right in the eye. You're screaming in pain. Take a critical wound and take 37 stamina damage.
Fuck.
That leaves me with 11 stamina, by the way.
Yeah, you are going to need medical attention for that eye as well.
You want to hope this dagger works.
Yeah, you really do. Okay, so that's his action for the round. You really don't want to let that happen again, if at all possible. So next up is...
Do player characters take that damage per round from crits?
Yes. Unless somebody can do some medical, or even just a first aid would probably. She's going to need attention, or she's going to take damage every round, yes. So you're screaming in pain, bleeding heavily from the face. Sir Oswald, you're going to have to run for it. That leaves us with Miss Strange. It's you to go.
I'll run.
Can I switch to the dagger? Because I want to give the pistol to Jimmy.
Right.
But I kind of want to, I'll say grab the pistol as I switch to the dagger, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no problem. Go for it. You can switch out to the dagger. Hold out the pistol to him. Drawing the dagger, you plunge it towards this stranger.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit him, but we'll see. Is it going to roll this time? Nah. For some reason, that one doesn't work.
That's odd, isn't it? Well, we'll be finishing.
Oh my god, I passed by 25.
You've passed by 25, so it is down to his agility, and I seem to have closed his thingy again. So you've passed by 25, and Collett's agility is 45, which gives him a column of 3. So you've done a medium wound, and you've knocked him back. So you, with the dagger, you plunge the dagger into him. His eyes widen as he staggers backwards, clutching at his stomach where you've stabbed him. Medium wound is 4 dice of damage. And he staggers back, unable to make another whip attack next round.
Shit.
How much damage did you just do?
9.
9. Oh, how poor that was.
Yes.
Okay, -9 on him. So he's overplaying how badly injured he is because he's never been stabbed before. He doesn't realise he's not actually as badly hurt as all that. The creature comes rushing. I feel we've missed somebody. Marie, did you get a go?
I didn't get going.
It's you to go now then.
In that case, I'm going to do the puby Glasgow Hairy bit at this posh boy. I'm going to run over, and is he facing me or does he get his back to me?
He's got his back to you.
I'm going to run over, I'm going to jump on his back, and I'm going to try and bite his ear.
Right, okay, go for it.
Wow. Oh,
Wow, what's your unskilled melee?
44, so I've passed by 41.
You've passed by 41, which would normally be a heavy effect, but it's currently a critical because you attacked him from behind. So you jump on his back, he's screaming, trying to get you off. You sink your teeth into his ear and tear it off, or tear a part of it off, spit the lobe out. Because it's an unarmed combat attack, you do unarmed combat damage. So
Yeah.
it's still 6d6 damage, but it's a light wound rather than a critical wound had you been armed. 1 light.
66, yeah.
6d10, sorry.
Ooh.
36, right, you are. He screams in pain as he collapses to the ground,
Oh my god.
currently unconscious. He's like, well, he won't be unconscious, he'll be incapacitated. So he's screaming and just holding like what's left of his now ruined ear. He's starting to hiss in a strange language you don't recognise.
I'm going to totally spit bits of blood over him and turn round and go to the monster because I've suddenly remembered I've got my tire iron thing.
You have, like?
Yeah, my crowbar. I'm going to go at the monster. Come on then!
Okay, so I'm just going to move you there. So the monster's going to come in and attempt to attack you.
Oh god.
As the first thing it's going to do. So I need to find. There is only one Hookthagis in this, and it is listed as the butler. So let me just.
A butler again.
Yes.
Butler's always done it. Can you
Yeah,
trust
you
a
seem to have
butler?
trouble with butlers, don't you?
Yeah, it's
So
got
it's
me.
a 47. What's your agility?
Can I use my action?
Yes, I will allow you to.
My agility's 48.
Right. Okay. So what's your action going to be, Chris? Quickly.
If I'd seen that it coming towards her, can I like get out my lasso? I would have just got out the car to make sure that she could have gotten in. Then I seen that her running back.
Yes,
And
I
then
am going to allow that. So you bring your lasso up and try and catch it before it gets to her. Make an attack. 36.
Yeah,
Passed by
passed
how
by
much?
36 to 78.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
42.
42.
Passed by
Yeah.
42.
So 42 against the creature's agility of shitting bucket loads. 75. It gives it a defense column of 5. It's still a medium thing, so it misses its attack this round as you lasso it.
Nice.
You drop the lasso over it and start pulling it off its feet. It's now, instead of attacking her, it's flailing at the lasso. So it's hit it with... Actually, I'm going to re-roll its attack because this is a fresh target. It gets 2 attacks, so it is going to... Oh, look at that. Okay, so it slices through the lasso with the first attack. So it's freed itself and destroyed your lasso immediately, but it's lost its ability to do anything else this round.
That's fine.
So back to it. It is Jimmy to go next then.
Okay, I want to stealth off, out of their eye line altogether, and try and get. Is he still on the floor? Did you say?
Oh yeah.
Right, and he's incapacitated.
Yes.
Coup de grace?
Yeah, you can do. How would you like to do it?
Okay. Gun to the temple.
Right.
Yep.
Bang.
You come up and fire a gun to the temple, and his head just explodes.
Oh, nasty.
What surprises you then is his body dissolves into the same tarry substance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to delete him. Poof.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because he was also not human anymore.
Now, if that creature was controlled by him, it may now
I was thinking.
de-summon or run off.
It's not going to run off, unfortunately. No, it's in this to the end. So, Aiden, it's you to go. What would you like to do? Your lasso's destroyed. The creature's within an inch of eviscerating Collette. It's clearly quite dangerous. What would you like to do?
I'm going to run at it and sidekick it.
Right, you are. You come charging out of nowhere and do a leaping sidekick. Make an unskilled melee attack, or a skilled one if you have
Oh
one.
my god, yes.
Lovely.
Oh wow!
Right. I'm
Wow.
also going to move its defense column down because you've come out of it on the flank. So, how much did you pass by?
I passed by 45.
You passed by 45. So it's a medium wound you've inflicted on the creature. It's unarmed combat though, so it's not a wound. It's only medium damage. You do 4d10 damage to it. Has this thing not
4d10.
been hurt yet?
No.
Oh dear. Right, okay. So
22?
it normally has, let me see, stamina 60. And you did 22? Did
Yeah.
you say? Okay.
So Jenny, that's what a crit looks like.
Minus 22. Bosh.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Yeah, we know what a crit looks like. We know what a crit failure looks like as well.
The creature turns to face you, angered by this sudden attack from its
Oh, no.
flank. It's also glaring at Jimmy for murdering its master. It can't decide which of the three of you to kill first. While it's trying to decide, however, Collette can take matters into her own hand. What would you like to do?
I'm going to hit it on the head with this iron bar.
Right, you are. You bring your big, heavy tool
What was
down.
the sigh about?
Please get out of the way after you do that.
35. That seems like
That's
it
a
might be a
pass.
hit. Yeah.
I passed by 9.
Okay.
probably
You've
be a
passed
light
by
wound.
9, so it's not going to be much. You've done a light injury. A light wound to it, so it gets another light wound. You do 2 dice of damage to it.
I'm looking for some. There's that wind type noise. Is it something?
I can
Indeed,
hear it
yes.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear it now, and it stopped. So you did 13 damage.
Yep.
So minus 13. Bosh.
Someone's mic is haunted.
Yes. So you welly it heavily, and you're aiming for its head, but it moves at the last moment, and you whack it on the shoulder. You can feel the crunching of the bones in the shoulder as they grind against one another under the sudden, brutal attack that you've leveled at it even. So that was Collette. So it's Sir Oswald. What would you like to do? You're no longer under that fear effect. That's worn off.
fantastic.
So you can.
Can I flank it around the car and attack it?
Yes, you can.
I mean,
I'll do that then.
you could parkour over the top of the car and drop its head for above.
I don't really think that's Sir Oswald's
He's
way.
too sophisticated for that.
So what are you attacking it with?
That
Is it-
weapon, the scythe. Sickle.
The sickle.
Scythe.
Right, you are.
Sickle.
So you come running around behind it and swing the sickle at the back of it.
I am not hedging my bets. I'm doing very well. Nah, I missed.
Okay. Unfortunately, because you're trying to avoid hitting anyone else, you don't manage to get a blow on it. Alexis to go next. What would you like to do?
Can I squeeze in here?
Yes, you can squeeze in there.
I'm gonna squeeze in there and stab it with the dagger.
Go for it.
And if I can, I'll move back up to the middle if I've got enough movement.
I lost you completely there, Jenny. Could you say again?
I'm saying if I can, after doing that, I'd move back around the other side of the car, but I
Do you know, I'm going to allow it. Go on, I will. I'm feeling generous. The creature's in no position to engage everybody at once, so yeah, I'm going to allow it.
right. Ooh, I passed by 25 again.
You passed by 25. I'm moving its defense column down one, so you've done a medium wound. That's 4
dagger.
dice of damage.
Don't know if this is going to do anything to it or not. That's better. 28.
Yeah. Go,
Wound,
go,
you've
go.
done- You've done 28 damage to it, so you stab it with the dagger. It staggers backwards and collapses. You see it's hit the ground. Its chest is heaving. It's still alive. It's obviously gasping for breath. It's struggling though. It's incapacitated. Yes.
That way we do the Shaun of the Dead thing.
Who would like to coup de grace?
Boom!
Right, you are. You put the gun to the front of its face and poof, you blow its head apart. The
Yay.
creature's still there. The body's still there, but you see it start to take on a sort of gelatinous. Yeah. So you have defeated the cult. You have brought down the 3 priests who were, in point of fact, had been converted into minions by power of the evil way long, long ago and were no longer human.
They were shit minions and now they're dead.
Yes, by destroying the 3 statues, you
Yeah.
also destroyed 3 other preternatural enemies that were down in the Drunmeton beneath your feet.
Right.
So you have destroyed. Let's see now. Who was it? You have destroyed Kralekt, the demon stag. You have destroyed Kravech, the bull, and Zemidja, the serpent. Each
Yeah.
of which, as you destroy their statues, they become less and less corporeal until after about 5 minutes' time, they are sucked off this world. Sucked off, I don't think I meant to. They're sucked out of this world and drawn back to the unknown, where they once again find themselves unable to return to the earth. So you will get half their IP each. You have one problem, however. You've got a knackered car right slap bang in the middle of somewhere it isn't supposed to be. You're going to have to try and get that away from here as the 3 creatures beneath your feet dissipate.
Hang on.
Unbeknownst to you, however.
Take the number plates off.
Mhm.
It's right on top of a fire.
Burn it.
Set light to it. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure our identities are being wiped anyway by Save. Yeah.
No.
No.
It's
Oh.
not the fucking CIA. It's a sort of semi-amateur.
I've
Wait.
got a better idea.
Tow it
Got a
out.
bloody van, tow the bugger.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Tow
Yeah.
the bugger and then, go seek these roads. Ran it into a tree.
Okay. So you tow your own car away in the hopes that you'll be gone by the time the police arrive. Driving away in the van, I'm going to say you are successful. You get away before the police come to investigate. The police are left with a confusing situation in which there's a burning hole. Everybody that they expect to find at this manor has disappeared, and that over the next few weeks, 2 things hit the papers. The disappearance of Devere Culloch, who should be the lord of the manor here, and his butler, as well as several or some of his friends, who were gathered one night at the mansion and disappeared at the same night as a gas pocket on the land exploded.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Every time you read this newspaper, a slight smile strikes the corner of your lips. But then,
I could have had
within a
the
few,
headline, or I could have had the byline on this. Aye, a moron.
what strikes a chill into your heart, though, is a day or 2 later, you start to see increasing numbers of reports of the Loch Ness monster being spotted in the loch itself. Despite everything you did, it would seem that in the end you failed to stop Kernanos from summoning his master, which is now loose in the loch. However, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the game. I'll be dishing out the insight points in just a moment's time. So, how did you enjoy our Halloween special, folks?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it. So that was Cryptworld by Goblinoid Games. That is their version of the Pacesetter Horror game, which was originally released in 1984, I think, as Chill. I did use one or two of the older rules for that and a little bit of house ruling as well, so I kind of blended it a little bit. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody at home who has been watching. What I am going to do is I'm going to give the characters some insight points, because although this was part of our shorts, this was a special for Halloween, we will be returning to the world of Cryptworld at some point in the future for another mission for the members of the Eternal Society of the Silver Way. So do keep an eye out for that. Thank you for joining us. Before you go, however, I do believe that Jenni has something to tell you.
Yes, for definite. If you're on Twitter, then you should follow us at Gethsemane Games for all the latest updates, and also on Facebook as well, and YouTube, because we upload every episode of our various different games onto there. And as well as this, you should take a look at Drive Through RPG, where Gethsemane Games sell system agnostic adventures and maps. And check out Bryan's Patreon account, where you can help support his hard work and receive various goodies, including maps that he makes for your games. Just search for BF Irving on there. And if you want to support but don't want to pay monthly, check out his coffee account as well.
Indeed. So thank you very much for joining us. As I say, do keep your eyes peeled for future games that we'll be running from various companies. We may even at some point get around to running one of our own games of what we have designed. But thank you very much for joining us for our Halloween special. We hope you've enjoyed it as well. But from now, it just remains for us to say thank you. Do stay safe, take care. But for now, from us, good night.
Goodbye.
Good night.